All right, ladies and gentlemen, get excited. Get excited. I just gotta post the link and our stream will start. And a couple more things. One moment, guys. We're almost into the Etherverse. Alright, let's be honest. I chose one of the hardest OSTs. I chose one of the hardest OSTs. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to start the stream. How is everybody doing today? It's an amazingly beautiful, it's beautiful, Sunday, November 9th, 2025. How are we doing today? I hope we're doing well. Hope we're doing well after my announcement of my Yu-Gi-Oh fan club that is extremely real and is going to happen. I'm actually thinking about doing a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament on our next community day. So, it may be memes, but there are some real implications from the memeage. There are some real implications. Anyways, we don't have too much news to get into. It's a lot of reaction today. To start us off, we'll have some absolute cringe coming from Nick Freitas and a guy named Michael Knowles. Now, I don't know who Michael Knowles is, but it's extremely cringe the slop they put together. So we're going to be going through that today. After that, we'll be diving into a little bit more of the Shrimp Wars with finishing up What Should the Right Want with Doug Wilson by our favorite rightoid Nick. After we finally leave the front of the Shrimp Wars, we will have a little bit we still have the rest of Kalinda's debate to get into, so that will be enjoyable. And then after that, if we have time, we have a presser by California Governor Gavin Newsom as he addresses a Texas rally for Prop 50. So that's exciting. And then for our two news stories today, I have an article by the AP. Flight cuts from government shutdown strain a supply chain that's already stretched thin. It's Piece by AP, and that'll be interesting to get into. And then after that, a little bit of breaking news, or not quite breaking, but heartbreaking news. Officer shot dead in line of duty at hospital in North Carolina. So apparently some psycho shot up a hospital and left one of our officers dead. So that is going to be a story we get into. Rest in peace to them. Hope their family's doing well. Hope their family's doing well. Anyways, let's switch over to gaming time. And Bill, you were right, by the way. It is Pasta 21 right now, but I think we're gonna switch that up to somebody else today. Somebody else today. Who? I'm not quite sure yet, but excuse me. I absolutely hate yawning. Sorry, I hope I didn't give you guys a yawn fest. Alright. Silicon-based cabbage today. That's who I'm feeling. Silicon-based cabbage. It's gotta be one of my favorite MS Paint drawings of recent. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. I love them all, but that one, it gives like a post-apocalyptic feel. But I like them all. I loved Bill's little creature. It was one of my favorites as well. Anyways, so as I mentioned, as I kind of hinted, we have some supreme fucking cringe coming from Nick and Michael. Now keep in mind, these people rail against Hollywood, but in reality, they're just trying to be Hollywood. They're just mad that they're not good enough for Hollywood. You know, they're not attractive enough. They're not good at acting. They're not most of these things, but they want to be that. They want to be that. And so they have to bring about this cringe from the MAGA industrial complex. But luckily it's served right on the plate. Sorry I'm late. I was listening to Elton John. No, totally good. Love Elton John. Alright, let's begin this. But I am going to warn you guys, this is a supreme amount of cringe, okay? I'm just going to warn you guys right now. Please put your cringe vest on and put your PPE on, because this is going to be tough.
Who are you?
Oh, it's already so cringe. Ah, no. No, I don't want to. Ew, get his lips out of here.
Hello, Michael.
Freitas.
If you remember, there's a debt to be paid.
What? Oh, by the way, this is Will Michael lead the next crusade? Yeah, we're talking about the fucking Crusades. Michael Knowles is definitely not gay. Well, that's good.
What are you talking about?
A little game of yes or no.
What?
Which you clearly rigged.
I didn't rig the game.
Save it, Knowles. You screwed up. You admitted before the game that you didn't even own a pistol.
You don't own a pistol.
I don't own a pistol. That's embarrassing.
And,
What? There's some. Are these two gay lovers? I mean, if that's the case, then hey, good for them. But I don't need to know about your extracurricular activities, Nick. I mean, if you guys have a gay relationship, that's great. I wish you luck. I wish you guys luck. But you don't need to be advertising it to everybody. You know what I mean?
that's when I realized you needed the win a whole lot more than I did.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'll admit it, I considered being petty, getting something that your dainty little hands could hold. But then I realized, no, what you need is something that's going to bring in the Catholic warrior that we know is hiding beneath the surface.
The Catholic warrior. Suddenly gay.
So behold, the finest smiths at Magnum Research came together in order to craft.
Oh my god, dude. It really is one of the most unintentionally homoerotic big videos I've ever seen.
For you.
Oh my god, dude. Oh, the post is related to Michael Knowles? Okay, let's open it up. Let's open it up. Hold on. Michael Knowles, the guy who wants to eradicate transgenderism, shows off his skills. Well, let's see what skills this guy's got, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, new scene. Haley and Jamie getting out on the mattresses. Their brother and sister.
Oh, man. That guy knows how to deep throat. That guy knows. Well, hell yeah. Congratulations, man. Oh, wow. Yeah. Wow. This guy wants to get rid of the transgender. Wow. That's interesting. Maybe he sees it as too much competition? I don't know. He also was a gay man in a shirt film. Makes sense. That's usually, you know, the prime people.
The excommunicator.
Wait, okay. It wasn't his penis that lie under the briefcase, which we all suspected. We all suspected it was going to be his dick. Instead, it's a gun, which, in a lot of ways, you could say is similar to the phallic item.
I thought it was just a myth.
The legends are true, Michael. They foretell of one who could wield the excommunicator to finally bring peace to the Holy Land.
And that's me.
No. Peace to the Holy Land? What the fuck are you talking about, dude? Oh my god. Dude, I haven't thought about the Crusades in years. Who gives a fuck? They happened so long ago.
Sure, we'll go with that. But first, you must undergo much training in order to be prepared.
He's basically prime failed Hollywood to Daily Wire. That's what I'm saying. These people want to be Hollywood so much, but they can't be. Because they're not charismatic. Look at Nick's acting in that. Did you see that? That wasn't good acting. Nobody believed that. The Holy Land of Seekings. Sensation. New York. Newark. Wow.
You and the pistol, Michael, must become one. No, don't make it weird. I just mean you need to line up your sights on the target, have a good grip, and slowly squeeze the trigger.
Ooh-wee. They're so funny. Oh my god. Nobody cares about this. This isn't a part anybody cares about. You know what I mean? They're slowing it down to emphasize something, but it's like he's just shooting a fucking gun, dude. You know? It'd be cool if it was like slow-mo and then instantly hit back on a normal speed and like pew, pew. But this is a little too long. Just an editing recommendation to whoever edited this, you know?
You and the pistol, Michael, must
Like, no, this isn't it. Like how we must become one, Michael, the start of the Knowles Frida's line. I know, I wasn't expecting the Knowles and Frida's, but I'm enjoying it.
Come one.
Oh, look at this baby. He's got ear pieces in. What a big baby. Wah, wah. You need some milk? You need some milk, buddy? Jeez. I'm telling you. He's gonna go in the bathroom later and make sure his nails didn't get fucked up. I mean, Jesus, dude. Get a grip. Your hearing is only good once. That is true. That is true. Yeah, but that's the thing. I was about to say, call the wambulance, man. Like, these guys talk all day about how big manly men they are, and then I don't know. This isn't a winning argument from me, so I'm just gonna back out. I'm gonna bow out. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'll bow out. Jesus Christ! It is a desert eagle, so guys, let's not flame them too hard. It is a desert eagle.
Take that, Saracen.
Oh, jeez. Oh, wow. These guys sure are funny.
This thing
All right.
is awesome. It's so crazy.
You want to just go through this mag?
Dude, Nick, you are so fucked, by the way. I don't want to reveal, but you are so fucked. You have no idea. That's all I'm gonna say.
You got a low gut shot.
Not quite bullseye. Okay.
For a 50 caliber,
He probably shouldn't have been taking sponsorships while he was in an elected official. He probably shouldn't have been doing that.
that's close enough.
Yeah, that's good. Did you hit bullseye? Ah, man, come on. Come on. That's not cool.
And you're dry. You're a little bit low on right on that one.
Yeah, but what about that bullseye one?
That bullseye's awesome.
That was
Great
pretty
job,
good.
Michael.
Thanks.
Great job.
Thank you. Yeah. I like I shouldn't be surprised, but it's like, of course, like first time with this guy, just dead on bullseye, you know.
God, how uncharismatic. Of course. Talk about negative Riz.
All right, you ready, you Saracen? You got to stop tolerating heresies. Yeah, you know, I'm like so, because I didn't grow up with guns at all, so first time I ever shot a gun, I was probably 24, 25 or something, you know, and so I've
Wow, nobody gives a shit. I'll be honest. Nobody cares. Is this just their time going to the gun range and they thought they could make content out of it? Talk about lazy, by the way. Lazy, lazy, lazy. But Nick allegedly has a lot more to worry about than his lazy editing.
never disassembled a gun.
Yeah.
I've never, you know, it's like there are guys who can like strip and reassemble an AR-15 in like 3 seconds.
Oh my god, this is one of the most homoerotic fucking videos I've ever watched. He can strip and take it down in 15 seconds. Oh.
Or whatever, you know.
So true story. when my my grandfather was still alive, his den was like the quintessential World War II veteran grandpa den.
Yeah.
So it was guns and katanas and like, you know.
Katanas. Jesus. Talk about an idiot. It's pronounced katana, Nick. Not katana. It's not a Yu-Gi-Oh card.
When I was like probably 13, 14, I'd go over to my grandpa's house and I'd go into the den.
Well, that's a little too old, you know. If you were in Utah, Tennessee, or Arkansas, you'd know how to strip a gun and put it together by the age of 5. You're slacking there, Nick. That's got to be one of the most insane fucking new laws. If you guys didn't know, if you didn't catch my short, they are teaching children in Arkansas, Tennessee, and I believe it was Utah how to use weapons, how to use guns. They're teaching them the basics of gun knowledge. And you may ask, how is that going to help mass shootings? It's not. It's not. You know, I don't think there's a child standing up to the man holding an AR-15. I don't think he's going to disassemble it just by his mere thoughts. You know what I mean? So that's just going to lead to more mass shootings. And let's look back. Let's check back on Utah, Tennessee, and Arkansas in 10 years and see who is leading the country in most shots. Or most mass shootings. Anything but gun reform, right? Anything. It doesn't even have to be that. It could be as simple as mental health funding. You know, putting a counselor in every school, putting multiple counselors in every school. You know, reach out programs, stuff like that. I mean, this is going to lead to a lot more death than is necessary. I really do think. Because you're teaching the child how to use the gun. You're teaching them how to use it now. So now maybe there's like some kid who didn't know how to use a weapon and that was his barrier for shooting up the school. Well, now he does.
And my grandpa had a 1911, and 1911 was a lot harder to field strip, old Colt 1911.
Yeah.
Because that had a lot more parts. It's not like the ones now where most of like your Glocks or Springfield XDs or Smiths, it's 4 parts to a pistol. That's it. That's all you got to do to disassemble.
Wow.
1911 was a lot more involved.
Yeah.
And so,
Wow.
But I'd go in there and talk guns with Grandpa, and I'd, you know, disassemble
All right,
stuff.
speed it up, Nick. I could care less about your grandpappy and his supposed fucking cool firearm collection. I don't care.
And the rite of passage for the Freitas boys was Grandpa would sit there in this chair, you'd be blindfolded, you get the 1911, and he would throw out parts from other guns as you were disassembling and assembling it. And totally, you know, as one does.
That's boring. Dude, your grandpa must have sucked. That sounds fucking shitty.
Oh, of course.
Totally
Grandpa.
normal childhood.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me tell you, if you didn't complete the gun, did he yell at you? Was he like, Nick, you fucking idiot! You'd have been worthless on the shores of Normandy. You'd have been fucking worthless.
You ready? You ever hear the name Godfrey of Bouillon? Right on target. Did I get him in the head?
No, that one was mine.
Oh, God.
This one's for Baldwin.
No, that was me.
Michael.
This one's for Baldwin.
Right in the nuts. That'll show him.
This one is not for Peter the Hermit.
Oh, that one doesn't count. That was not a real crusade.
Yeah, that's right. That was a fake. Don't blame us.
Yeah.
The Pope said it was bad.
Circumcising people over here.
Yeah. There we go. Did any of them hit the guy at all?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good.
Why are they so... God, they love the Crusade so much. It's really weird.
This is technically a bullseye.
Yeah.
That is technically a
How
bullseye.
do you like that?
I can't. This was the...
Wow.
I see what you were trying to do here. You were trying to wound him, so it would require 2 or 3 other Saracens to like...
That way I can
drag
lure
this
him
guy.
out of the shadows.
Yeah, yeah. This one's yours.
Yeah,
That's
that
a
was
good
mine.
one.
Okay,
That's
I
a
get
good
it.
one.
Wow. Just casually saying, oh, you just wounded him so you could bring out more people. What a fucking evil set of people these are. And just so cringe, you know?
Points.
Yeah, that's a good one. These right here, we're just sending a message.
Yes.
That there will be no more breeding.
No
of
more
these.
little Saracen
No,
kids.
no, you're
Saladin Jr. not showing up.
Dunsky.
On the circumcision, I should have said that was more for the
God, this is so embarrassing for a political representative.
not Holy Land, but
By the way, did you guys check my MAGA roundup? Just put out a recent short that goes over our first collection of our first addition to our MAGA collection. Go check it out. There is a very interesting through line of PDF file downloaders and being part of MAGA. So go check it out. I just posted it. I recorded it last night, so just always advertising my shorts, always advertising my content out here, guys. Dude, we've seen these motherfuckers shoot a gun like
This one, as far as I'm
100
concerned-
times. How many more times do we get to see them shoot a gun before they consider it boring? Dude, this video would have ended like 5 minutes ago.
It's not even for Saladin. You know who it's for? Emperor
This is why we
Alexei.
need Hollywood,
When
ladies
you
and
promise
gentlemen.
support, you're supposed to send the support.
That's the thing. You know what I think of Arianism? And Nestorianism? And Albigensianism? All the Gnostics?
Didn't
Michael,
hit a single
Training
one
is
of them.
complete.
I'm ready.
No, the range is literally closing. We've got to leave. You did look badass though.
Thanks.
I was talking to the gun.
I don't compliment my friends.
Michael, I just want to point out, you're the only one here with a gun. So if you kill the rest of us,
No one would know.
You can tell them this is yours.
No, that is. Well, it's hard to keep
If
track
you
of who-
kill the rest of us, why were you thinking about that?
Oh,
Yeah,
why,
what
you
could
know,
have happened?
it's
You know,
like-
it was like there was a gun going off. And there was a
Yeah,
lot
I
of
don't
excitement.
know. I'd say we call it like 50-50.
Yeah. Well, Michael, your training for now is complete.
Well, thank you, sir. And I think it's safe to say.
Yeah, I never personally understood the appeal of firing guns either. Mostly because I just in my head visualize each round being like the dollar amount that you're wasting. You know what I mean? Bullets are expensive, guys. Bullets are expensive. And I personally wouldn't waste them like that, but the bourgeois, you know, they delight in flaunting their wealth. I'm joking, by the way. They can flaunt their wealth all they want. I don't care.
Had Magnum Research and Coated Arms been around about 1,000 years ago, I think the Battle of Hattin would have gone a different way, and Baldwin would still be on the throne.
And if you imagine, if all of our crusaders had had the benefit of showing up to the Charlie Hafner Memorial Range and
For the
training
practice,
and
yeah.
training before
Mhm.
they launched that crusade,
Yeah.
Hattin would have just very, very different. We would be sitting here. We'd be sitting,
We'd be
here
sitting in
just-
Damascus right now.
Right now.
Yes.
Right now. But no, huge thank you to Magnum Research, Coated Arms. You have not only created a gorgeous piece of art, but a rather functional.
Whoa, no way. Is he getting paid by these people? Need to learn to abandon boring videos like this? I don't think this is that boring. I enjoy talking about stuff like this. But, and if we would have abandoned it, look, we wouldn't have realized that this is probably sponsored
As has
content.
been demonstrated
Yes.
in your very skilled hands.
And I think my skills only get better from here.
Oh, they would have to. They would have to. No, once again, Michael, thank you very much. I consider my debt to you paid, but our debt. Pretending it's new.
Okay, well, if they're just gonna fucking sing, then I don't care. But no, that's interesting. They gave them a shout out there. I would wonder, is this sponsored? I'm not gonna say anything about that, Bill. I'm not gonna say anything about that. Anyways, we do have the rest of this to get to with Nick, although we can break it up with Gavin Newsom. I kind of want to break it up, the Shrimp Wars, a little bit with Gavin. Another Krill Kringle. Yeah. We get Krill Kringle after this. I like that. That was killer, by the way, Bill. That was killer. Anytime anybody references Doug Wilson now, that's Krill Kringle. Undisclosed ads are definitely illegal. Yeah, right? This seems like an ad. This really does seem like an ad. Now, maybe it's not, and that's not for us to decide, but it is for someone to decide. And that's all I'll say about that. Anyways, let's we're gonna exit out of that. That was far more boring than I thought it would be. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Anyways, let's get on to this full presser by our Chad in Chief, Gavin Newsom. Let's check out what he's saying at a Texas rally.
Please give a warm welcome to Harris County Democratic Party Chair Mike Doyle.
See, you know, it's kind of funny because my kids still don't think I need a theme song, and I think I do. So.
Yes, it is. That someone is our redeemer, Jay Jones.
What a moment here in Harris County. What a moment after Greg Abbott, the biggest toady for Trump in the entire state, came down here twice to Cy-Fair promising victory, and he got swooped.
Hey, I like this guy. Mike Doyle seems cool. Though this has an Al Green introduction.
And I'm so glad
Here,
to
I'll
be able
speed
to
it up
welcome.
too. Sorry, that's something I always forget to do is speed it up. And that's okay for some videos, but we do have a lot of content to chew through today, so we'll put it on 2x speed.
To Harris County, someone who's an incredible fighter for democracy every step of the way, every step of Trump's presidency, Gavin Newsom.
Mm-hmm.
Because what he showed, what the voters in California showed, is that power doesn't belong to the super rich or even the grossly rich, Elon Musk. And by the way, no thank you that you gave us Elon Musk. You ought to take him back, California. But he showed that at the end of the day, power belongs to us, the people. It belongs with us in the hard work that I know has been going on for the last 2 years. Because having done this job for 2.5 years, I know how hard
What is this camera work?
the people of Harris County, the Democrats, the folks, the precinct chairs, the clubs, I know how hard they've worked. I know how hard it is to get out there in August in Harris County to walk.
That was a bit of a
And
mess
we
up
know,
there.
because we've got 27% of the voters in this state, how much depends upon us. And we know it's a long road ahead of us, but we also know, with Gavin Newsom, with people coast to coast, I'm talking Gulf Coast to Pacific Coast, we're in this together. Every step of the way, we know that folks are fighting for what we care about. Fair opportunity for everybody. Fair treatment for every human being. And how about letting people eat? So what I know, and every single one of you here knows,
Well, hold on. Letting people eat, we might have to bring that to the Supreme Court. Because we don't like the idea of letting people eat, apparently.
we have the world on our shoulders in Harris County. But we have allies across this nation, not least, in fact, most important right now, because I love the fact that Governor Abbott is opening his campaign tomorrow in Houston. So what better welcome can we give than show how a real governor who cares about his people acts like Gavin Newsom? Thank y'all.
Hey, I like that. Seeing inside of his mouth was very important. You know, maybe they were just checking, you know, this is Texas, so we gotta respect their beliefs. Maybe they thought there was a lizard person inside of them. You know, we gotta respect Texans' beliefs. They just have to make sure there's no lizard inside of them. And there wasn't. There wasn't. He is a real man. Or he's wearing the Mark 7 suit. Either way, I trust him.
State Senator Gene Wu.
How y'all doing?
Oh, one moment, guys.
Thank you so much. Before I start, I want to give a big shout out to the IBEW for letting us use your hall. Thank you, Local 716. And thank you to all the workers of America. Thank you for everyone who's holding it together, even unpaid. Thank you for protecting our country. My name is Gene Wu. I'm a state rep by Houston, and I happen to be the minority leader in Texas House. A few months ago, we let a few Democrats out of the state in order to say no to Donald Trump. And in that time, they called the troopers on us, they called the FBI on us, they sent militias after us, vigilantes, a rogue sheriff, bomb threats, fake lawsuit after fake lawsuit, and even house arrest. But it was worth it. Because in that time, all of us, we made so much noise that America woke up. And
I like this guy's energy. I like him.
no matter what happened, we helped give America the fighting chance to save our democracy, and we could not be more proud. And you know what? You know, if I would rate ourselves, I think we did okay. Because in that amount of time, we made some of Donald Trump's little red states think twice about doing his dirty work. We gave some states a fighting chance to push it back. But the brass ring that we were reaching for the entire time, the brass ring that we're trying to go for, was Prop 50. Because even if Greg Abbott won't listen to the people, and the courts won't follow the law, at least Prop 50 will protect our democracy.
At least the people will protect our democracy. Truly. This was a vote by the people. You know what I mean? And it's very impressive to see how many people are still following politics, because you have to be following politics to really know about Prop 50. And that's exciting. That means that there is a whole generation, there's a whole wave of people that are getting into politics and staying in it. It's basically responsible for the counter gerrymandering. Oh, that's cool. That's good. I mean, I understand. I really do understand the theory, right, behind this mutually assured gerrymandering. It makes sense to me. It really does. Um, as like a defensive tool and as a tool to make people say, "Oh my God, I'm so sick of this gerrymandering shit. Let's just get an independent commission." You know what I mean? It's a very effective fight for our democracy, I feel. So I gotta shout out to this dude. He seems like he's got a good head on his shoulders.
And I have to thank Governor Newsom for having the wherewithal to see the danger from day one. But not just to recognize the danger, but to come up with a plan for us to fight fire with fire. Governor, thank you for standing up to tyrants. Thank you for never backing down 1 inch. But let me tell you this, we did not do this alone. There are many others who helped us, other legislators, other states, but especially we owe a debt of gratitude to Governor J.B. Pritzker of Illinois. He welcomed us into his home knowing that it would draw unwanted attention from Donald Trump. And when we were threatened, when we were forced to move, he sent his personal security detail to protect us and to make sure that we were safe. On behalf
Okay,
of the House
that's
Democrats
badass.
of Texas, on behalf of
I've always said, Pritzker really is just a badass, guys. Like, honestly, might be a good runner-up for, or might be a good runner for president. I mean it. Like, he seems like he's very passionate about the people. And passionate about bringing the fight to the Trump admin.
the people of Texas, Governor Pritzker, thank you as well. And let me say this. Like many of you in this room, I'm an immigrant. I'm the only person that's going to speak today where you don't have to ask, are you running for president? But listen, what I think of America, what I know about America, I've learned throughout my entire life. But at this moment, looking at all of you, I have never been more proud to be an American. I have never been more proud of my fellow Americans.
Damn right. That's what I love to hear right there. That is just, that's what I love to hear. Yeah.
Because the one
This is why I advocate so much for immigration, because it gives us people like this. Somebody so intelligent, somebody who is willing to fight for democracy. This is why I advocate for immigration. This is why I advocate for easier means to get in the US, you know? Because for every one criminal you let in, or you don't let in, you're not letting in 10 of these people. You know?
thing I've learned.
And by the way, Bill, Pisker is my favorite for 2028. I personally like Gavin more just because I think he is a little more well known in the political sphere. But Pitzker would be good too. I always say, we have a wealth of options when it comes to the Democratic Party. We really do. And the Republicans just don't have that, you know?
This is that when the people are united and we are determined, we can do anything. And so this is my last plea to all of you, to anyone listening, to Governor Newsom, to everybody. Texans are done running from Texas. Texans are not going to run from bullies anymore. And whether you're California, Illinois, New York, or now Virginia, we're asking people, our brothers and sisters in blue states, come support us. Come help us fight back the way you fight back. Help us with resources, help us to run, send money to our candidates, send money to our parties. And to everybody else listening, if you don't have the resources to help, today is the beginning of filing for a public office in Texas. Do it. Run for precinct chair. Run for election judge.
I love this. Yes, sir. Run for it. Do not let these Republican elites make you think that you have to be anybody else to be a politician. You can be the most, as Donald Trump shows, most dumb person in the world, and you can still run for office. Politics is not about elite, like, ideas. It's about the common man, you know? Texas Senate is pastime. You get paid nothing. So these people had to leave their job behind for months while they were quorum breaking. Oh yeah. Sorry, had to yawn. But oh yeah, these are true warriors of democracy. Working without pay for the people.
Run to go be a poll worker. Volunteer to knock on doors. I'm telling you once and for all, voting is no longer enough. For everybody out here, if you call yourself an American, if you're saying you are proud to be an American, that you love this country, this is your home, then be willing to fight for it.
Damn right. Damn right. Nothing more true has been said. Nothing more true. Truly, and this is something I believe too. You know, I think everyone should have a YouTube political channel. You know what I mean? Even if they disagree with me, I think everyone should. Because politics is so much more interesting, as so many more ideas when the common man is engaged, you know? When the common person just decides politics isn't for them, we get to stagnation of ideas. We get gridlock, you know? We need this constant new blood to be pumped into the Democratic Party, and I'm glad to see that it's happening. You know, for all the criticisms that the lefties had, don't you guys kind of think that the Democratic Party listened? Like, aren't we seeing a new side of the Democratic Party that is one that's willing to fight until the very end for the people? That's what I see. That's what I see.
Americans, we have taken this country from the tyrants before, and we will do it again.
I like that guy. Powerful. All right, I am gonna skip forward to our boy Gavin though, just because for the sake of brevity. All right. There he is. Our lib Chad is coming around.
It is good to be in Texas. Eat your heart out, Greg Abbott. Woo. Man. Listening to that lineup, I get why you say don't mess with Texas. But also don't poke the bear. Thank you, everybody, for it. I love you, too. Thank you, though. I came out here just to say those two words. Thank you. Thank you for being you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for showing up not just for yourselves, for each other, for the state, our nation, and the world we're trying to build. Thank you. Thank you for not giving into cynicism. Thank you for not giving into the fear and the anxiety that fills so many people. Thank you for being the antidote to that. Thank you for stepping up. Thank you for stepping in. And thank you for inspiring a nation, Texas. Thank you for inspiring the state of California. Thank you for Proposition 50.
Hey, those Texas Democrats, they did. I'm telling you, they inspired a lot of people to become politically active. I'm telling you, they did.
Gene wasn't wrong. Gene wasn't wrong. You guys made this happen. You guys have awakened up our immune system. We're dealing with an invasive species by the name of Donald Trump. He is an historic president, however. Historically unpopular president.
I love him when he goes, he's a historic president, though. He's historically unpopular, has historical records of job loss.
On every issue, on the economy, on tariffs, on immigration, on healthcare. Historically unpopular president. And he knows it. And he knows it. Why else? Why else did he make that call to your governor? Why else did he feel the need to rig the election before even one vote was cast?
Amen. Why else did, dude, that line, I need 6 more seats. Or 5 more seats. That one stuck with me. That one stuck with me. I don't know why it just was so anti-democratic that it just stuck with me.
That's just weakness. Weakness masquerading as strength. That's Donald Trump.
By the way, guys, if you're enjoying the video, please remember to like the video and subscribe. I do a show every day from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. where I go over all sorts of politics, news, and all the fun stuff. So please give a like, please give a subscribe. Totally free both ways around. So that's exciting. Anyways, let's get back into our Chad in Chief, Gavin.
And he had a very bad night on Tuesday. Bad night. And he did because of all of you. You're showing up. That No Kings rally? You talk about patriotism. You talk about why the founding fathers lived and died. You talk about why we're all here. The best of the Roman Republic, best of Greek democracy, co-equal branches of government, popular sovereignty, the rule of law, not the rule of done. And it's dawning on people all across the United States of America what's at stake. And you put a stake in the ground. People are showing up. They don't believe in crowns, thrones, no kings. And people all across this country are waking up because you had the courage months ago. Gene, his colleagues, had the courage to step up at a time when we were desperate for leadership. We were. I say all the time, it's not what happens to us, it's how we respond to what happens to us. And you responded. You didn't roll over and you didn't give in. You stepped up and you traveled, as Gene said, all across the United States of America, and you woke us up. You didn't just have your backs here. You had our back in the state of California. We were looking for a fight, not only that we can win, but a fight worth fighting for. And that is why I'm here. But none of us are naive, are we?
I'm getting goosebumps listening to President-elect Gavin.
When I kicked off this campaign, we kicked off the Prop 50 campaign. It was at the Democracy Center in Little Tokyo in Los Angeles. That's the sacred site where we were interning and busing the Japanese. At that site, to kick off the campaign at the Democracy Center, what did Donald Trump do? He sent out his masked men. He sent out his secret police, Greg Bovino. Sent them to intimidate us. And don't take my word for it, you can hear the federal judge's own words. This is a guy who believes that the oath of office he needs to take is to the dear leader, not the Constitution of the United States. Masked men showing up. Border Patrol, in ICE. You may have seen this, on Election Day in Los Angeles. Days after, I'll say it, the Los Angeles Dodgers won the World Series. I know. By the way, forgive me. Oh, hold on. That is, did you not listen to Al Green? I was a former mayor of San Francisco. That's harder for me.
Thinks the Senate is part-time, you get paid nothing, so these people... Oh, yeah. President-elect. I honestly do think we have so many great leaders in the Democratic Party, dude. Like, the Republicans are so screwed. I've been saying this. Rest in peace, Kalinda. What happened to Kalinda? Is Kalinda okay? Is everything all good with Kalinda? Or are you just talking about time? Oh, we're only an hour in, though, so...
That it is for you. Okay? Please. All right? I don't need to hear that. But just days later, what did you do?
Oh, yeah, my bad. She was hoping for the Jays. Whew. Kind of got me scared there for a minute. I was like, whoa, what happened to Kalinda? Yes, she was hoping for the Jays to win. But that's all right. The Dodgers... I mean, I'm not a sports ball fan, I'll be honest, guys. I used to be a really big football fan and a huge basketball fan, but then I got in a relationship and just kind of lost it. So I don't know what that means, but that's my story.
He sent 100 ICE and Border Patrol to assemble at Dodger Stadium, what they call the BORTAC units. These are the Border Tactical Units. This is what you're seeing all across the United States, what you're seeing almost nightly and daily in Chicago. Sent out to chill, to intimidate, so people wouldn't show up at the polls.
That ain't gonna work, though, Don. I'm just gonna tell all the repubs right now, that ain't gonna fucking work. The people are pissed, and you can't stop the people, ladies and gentlemen. Another Toronto versus LA 2020 fight that LA won after Kendrick versus Drake. Hey, Kendrick versus Drake was killer, dude. That had to be one of my favorite moments in pop culture. Certified lover boy, certified pedophile. Wop.
Did we show up? There were lines around the block 2 hours after polling had stopped because people wanted to be heard, not just seen. They wanted to send a message, which, as Jasmine said, was sent all across the United States of America. And she's absolutely right. It wasn't just New Jersey. It wasn't just Virginia. It was in Bucks County with a now Democratic district attorney, first time since 1800s. It was in Georgia. It was in Mississippi. It was all across this country. Donald Trump.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't just the big elections that Democrats won, by the way. We won almost every election on Tuesday, guys.
Heard from Representative Fletcher. He has waken up our immune system. Justice Brandeis, he said it best. Justice Brandeis said, in a democracy, the most important office is not governor, it's not president. In a democracy,
Oh, he's talking about OVO as a whole. Yeah, I do think there's some weird stuff going on with Drake, dude. Look at how he moves. Deep red places like Mississippi, they broke the supermajority there. Yeah. Like, dude, Democrats are winning, you know? And I've been saying this. I said, I think after the loss, we really took it hard, right? Because we felt like we were fighting for democracy. We felt like we were fighting for the republic. And it felt like the American people rejected that they didn't care about the democracy. They didn't care about the republic. They just wanted cheaper grocery bills. But I don't think that was the case anymore. I mean, that may have been why they voted for him. But that doesn't mean they don't care about democracy. That doesn't mean they don't care about the republic. The republic and the democracy just wasn't very present in front of them, which is why I advocate for more programs and stuff that can show the American people that the government isn't this big bad. It's actually something that's there to help them and help them grow.
Office is office of citizen. Active, not inert citizenship. We the people. You're showing up. You're stepping up. You're stepping in. And people are hearing your voices. So
And that's something else. Like, I don't like framing it as the government. Like, it's the people. They don't know what they are losing. I agree. They don't know what they're losing. I agree. But with that being said, I think more people are waking up to it. And I've seen huge support from for the Democratic Party from people I would never have expected it from. Lefties are praising the fight that some of them are bringing. More moderates are praising the leadership of certain individuals. I mean, we're doing great. I think we're doing great, and we got to continue this, though. Those Tuesday elections were just like, those are just a sign of things to come. Those aren't set in stone. So we need to keep this pressure on. We need to keep it on.
again, want to express gratitude. You've distilled a sense of well-being. You've given us hope. We're going to get through this. You've given us confidence. But as I said, we cannot rest until we take it back.
Amen.
There is no more important race in our lifetime than the House of Representatives and taking back the House and getting Speaker Jeffries sworn in.
So true.
Remember, it's the whole thing. It's the whole thing. It is. And so that starts today. It started on Tuesday. And I say this, the future is not just something to experience, it's not something to enjoy. The future is something to manifest. It's decisions, not conditions, that will determine our fate in future. The fact that you chose to be here is testament to that. We have agency. We can shape the future here in Texas. We can shape the future here all across the South and across the United States of America. You have that power. You do. Not Donald Trump. Not Donald Trump.
I don't know why people think Kevin's a psychopath. To be quite frank, he seems pretty genuine to me. Maybe that's just my my Dem genes kicking in, but he seems genuine to me. He doesn't seem like he hates America, or he doesn't seem like he's doing it for fame or anything like that. Personally, that's just what I see, you know? I think he understands that he has to be a little more confrontational and a little more bombastic to break the news headlines, but he seems genuine to me, guys. Like, I don't know where people get this psychopath stuff from, but hey, beats me.
Harley. No. It's about all of it.
It's the breathiness of his speech.
You been seen anything on Twitter that we're sending out lately?
Maybe. Yeah, I see what you're
If you
saying.
haven't, you may want to check it out. And word to the wise, we do have, well, and forgive me, but we do have some knee pads. It's a signature series. They're sold out at the moment. The universities and all these law firms and members of certain media organizations, I figured they can use these. Let's keep our eyes wide open for what's at stake and what's going on in the United States of America. These guys want to roll back all the hard-earned progress of last century. They want to put America in reverse. They want to bring us back to a pre-1960s, maybe 1860s world. And you see it
Oh, well, if you listen to some of them, if you listen to certain MAGA members, they want to take us back before the Enlightenment.
Voting rights, you're seeing it on civil rights, you're seeing it on women's rights, you're seeing it on LGBTQ rights. We're experiencing it in real time. They're censoring historic facts. They're rewriting history. They're on a banning binge, Bud Light and Big Bird. The United States of America in 2025. And so as we enter, I'll close, on 2026, the 250th anniversary of our founding fathers. Let's restore, not just hope and optimism, but let's also stand up as we take back the House. Let's stand up. Let's stand up to those that have been humiliated, those that feel bullied, those that are afraid and scared. Let's stand up for those that have given up, and let's give them hope. Let's stand up.
I won't lie, guys. As a member of the LGBT myself, it does kind of scare me with certain decisions the Supreme Court is taking. Obviously, it doesn't scare me enough to just like hide and stuff. Like, I'm never gonna do that. I'll be fighting till the day I die. But it is very uncomfortable, I guess. To just see my group talked about like they are the devil by the Republicans, you know, and get treated just so horribly, you know. Stonewall didn't happen just for all of this. 1680 is before the Enlightenment. That's what he's talking about. Oh, I thought he said the 1800s. My bad.
For the rule of law. Let's stand up for a system of checks and balances, and let's stand up for our democracy, for all of us. Thank you, Texas. Thank you, Harris County Guns. Thank you.
But, you know, one of the big reasons I'm such a stand for the DNC is because they're the only group in America that's really been fighting for, like, my rights, you know? I want to be able to marry who I want to marry, you know? I don't want the state to just say, no, your love isn't valid. Your love isn't valid. I don't want that. I don't want to live in a world where children are afraid to love who they want to love. Children are afraid to... Okay, that sounded bad. Hold on. Where children have to be afraid that they like a certain gender, you know? Section 2 case, and now the Supreme Court wants to overturn that. Wild times. Yeah, I know. But Section 2 case scares me the most because the one ruling won't let anything be undone. I know. The Voting Rights Act gutting of Section 2. I don't know how they're gonna rule on that. We'll know soon, but yeah, anyways. Oh, sorry guys. I was responding to my good friend Kalinda. Hop on and react for now if you're... she was texting me about how she wanted to react to with me on this. Oh, bet here. We'll let this oh, I can't let that happen or else he's gonna be all stupid. All right, let me respond to this. In an hour, if I'll be in the void. By the way, guys, if you don't know, I do share a Discord with my very good friend Kalinda.
Beliefs do not influence them in Richmond or Washington, D.C.
All right, so what were they talking about here? What were they talking about? Practical application of whatever.
Or wherever. I said, is lying to you about one of two things. Either the religious commitments or whether or not it's influencing them. Because if they are religious commitments, then they inform the way you think about the world.
That's right.
And so there is no...
Oh, okay. Now I see. They're purity testing. They're talking about purity testing people. Okay.
Impact
Well,
the way I see things or interpret reality. It has to. Otherwise, it's meaningless, and I don't really belong to that faith.
So it makes sense to separate church and state because the state is a government, and church is a government. The visible church is governed.
Whoa, what? The church is a government, apparently.
It has officers. It has meetings. It exists in this world. We're not talking about the invisible church. We're talking about the visible church on earth. It's a government, and civil government is also a government. And it's a bowl of apples and a bowl of oranges, and you can keep them separate because they're both bowls of fruit. But separation of morality and state is a question of whether the apples are rotten. Not whether you're combining apples and oranges, but whether the apples
No,
are
it's not. What is he?
rancid. So if somebody says, so you could turn it around and say, so you're saying that you want absolutely no connection between morality and government? No, who wants to live under an amoral government? Right? But as soon as you say, no,
No, I disagree. What are you talking about?
I want the government to be moral, then the question, okay, great. Which morality?
So let me ask you this then, because my co-host, Christian.
Oh, Bald Hitler. My wife's lover. Or my my lover's husband.
Him and I debate this a lot because Christian is somebody that went from 5 years ago hardcore libertarian to now saying the classical liberal tradition has significant flaws. And he would agree with everything you just said right up to the point where it was this idea that we're just going to have this separation. His claim would be impossible. Impossible.
Well, separation of governments. It's like
Well, no. What he would say is, let me reword that. He wouldn't say it's impossible to attempt it. He would say it's impossible to carry it out long term. That it will eventually move in a particular direction. Because what he would say is, yes, I love the idea of like what you just described. I agree. The problem is that you've left out the mechanisms whereby that sort of society can
But I don't love it enough to defend it.
actually protect itself from things like wokeism or neo-Marxism, because we had
Wokeism, Jesus
with the
Christ.
founders. We had it at the founding.
and we had it for 150, 200 years.
Yeah,
it was a pretty good run.
Yeah. Well, and then of course, one side of this will come back and be like, oh, you mean with slavery? And you mean like, no, we're not. We didn't say perfect. We said that there were certain structures in place, and slavery was at no point ever critical to any of that structure. It was at the very beginning a contradiction to the structure. Right. But
Actually, no. What are you talking about? The South depended very heavily on slavery.
What he would say is wonderful. I love what you're saying. I agree. If we could live in
That's one of the reasons they're poor now. It's because they depended way too much on slavery, and they fucked their economy for centuries.
a Christian society, which by the way, we even have people like Richard Dawkins saying this now. We even have people like James Lindsay saying this now, where I might not be a Christian, but I like Christian culture because of what it produces.
I love apple pie. I just hate orchards.
So
I will chainsaw all the orchards.
So
Still have apple pie.
So Christian would say, that's absurd. They want Christian culture, but they don't want the things that come with it. And he would probably say that's why you need within government. He wouldn't say you need clerics or anything like that, because within government, what you actually need is stronger centralization of power within the executive branch in order to protect that kind of society.
Stronger centralization within the executive branch simply puts a sign on the door saying, "Devil, attack here." Right. So this is why the American Constitution was a work of theological genius, not just political insight, but theological genius. If I were a Martian that came down and got a copy of the Constitution and went back to Mars to study it, I would say, and I studied it for a couple of years, and another Martian said, "What's the central underlying?"
In good LGBT news, the gay crisis hotline calls have dropped a lot in Oklahoma after that terrible superintendent quit. Well, that's really great to hear. I wonder though, those LGBT crisis lines, didn't they get cut? I remember Trump was saying they were going to cut those, and I personally used those hotlines quite a bit when I was in a very depressed state, and I didn't know what to do with my life. I did use the prevention hotline. Very valuable resource, extremely valuable. It's good to just know someone's there to listen. It is.
Presupposition of the American Constitution. And I'd say, well, it appears to me to be resting on the bedrock of the doctrine of total depravity. Okay.
Very reformed.
Listen to what he just said. The Constitution lies on the doctrine of depravity. These guys hate America. These guys fucking hate America. Go to Russia, dude. Go live in Russia if you fucking hate all this freedom you see. For real, I mean it. I will literally crowdfund for Nick and Doug to just go live in fucking Russia. Isn't that what they want? A totalitarian state that uses the church as justification? Oh yeah, go to Uganda.
Very reformed, and I think it was, because the American Constitution assumes that we must not ever trust American politicians. Okay. And C.S. Lewis says it this way. He said there's two ways to be a Democrat, a small D Democrat.
They did spend good
money. One
money.
is to say that everybody's opinion is so valuable that we can't take any action without consulting with everybody, because God don't make no junk. Everybody's got a good opinion. And you see that kind of thing on the left, where they want to reduce voting age.
You mean fucking democracy? This guy doesn't believe in democracy. I think we found out why nobody fucking talks to this loser. Fucking Krill Kringle out here. Well, we found out. Because he just doesn't like democracy.
Ages, and they want to consult everybody. Lewis said, I'm a Democrat, small d Democrat, for the opposite reason. I believe that man is sinful and depraved, and consequently I want to spread the power as thinly as possible over as broad a range, and that's what the American Constitution does, with its separation of powers, its checks and balances, its federal system. It's amazing. You've got these three branches of government at the federal level.
Bro, you don't like the fucking Constitution. Stop it. Stop faking your love for the Constitution. Go fucking read it before you start talking all this bullshit.
Well,
here, I actually have a stream you can watch if you want to know about the Constitution. I did an entire stream where I read the full thing. And we're going to do that every year, by the way. That will be a yearly thing. So yeah, go watch that, Doug. You know, you might learn some shit. Who in the Democratic Party has asked to lower the voting age? I have no idea. That was something I was actually about to bring up. Who is asking to lower the voting age? I don't know anybody who's advocating for that on the Democratic Party, and I'm a Dem stan, so I would know. Lower the voting age. Need it every 4th of July? I'm down. That's a great idea, actually.
We've got all these states that have states. It's like this mobile hanging from the ceiling, where all these things are balanced against each other. And as Madison says, it's either in 51 or 53 of the Federalist Papers. I keep forgetting it. But he said the challenge of government is to give the government enough power to enable it to govern and oblige it simultaneously to govern itself. And that can't be done without a fundamental hermeneutic of suspicion. So when someone wants to give all the power to the Supreme Court, or all the power to the strong executive, or all the power, what they're doing is...
Dude, that's what your side is doing. What are you talking about? You are a fucking dumbass.
That's not Christian nationalism, right? That's not Christian nationalism, because you're trusting man.
Well, but here's the question, right? And again, Christian brought this point up, and I think it's a valid one. He goes, look, I love Tolkien. He goes, but you can't destroy the Ring of Power. There is no Mount Doom. The Ring of Power exists. Somebody is going to wield it. Now, again, I am still in that class.
That's not true. See, look at that.
I'm willing to hear all the arguments, but I'm still in that
It
class.
touches Green Lantern theory of politics.
I am very, very hesitant to concentrate power too closely in the hands of one or a small group of people. And look, this isn't just, you read Polybius, going back to Rome, and his whole theory of anacyclosis. And if you look at the way we arranged our government, you can tell they read a lot of Polybius on these checks and balances. But what Christian would come back with is like, okay, great, I love the Constitution. I love it, Doug, love the Constitution.
Right.
No,
and
you
here we
don't.
are.
Christian doesn't love the Constitution. And yeah, here we are with Donald Trump wielding unprecedented power. What are you talking about, you fucking loser?
Here we are with this Constitution. We have not been able to defend ourselves from it. And when you look at all of the policies we currently have in place right now, when you look at the fact that forget our fiscal policy for a second, our monetary policy is at a point where we are headed toward almost inevitable sovereign debt crisis, which then feeds into our fiscal, our fiscal things drive the monetary policy. He goes, we have election cycles where people are constantly chasing whatever is best for them in the next election cycle. Because if you actually had somebody like Alexander Hamilton suggested, like an elected president who serves a lifelong term, then you might actually have somebody that was concerned about legacy as opposed to...
Oh my goodness. No, they wouldn't be concerned about legacy. They'd be concerned about consolidating power for their future kin. Like, what are you talking about? Dude, how can they like democracy when they don't even understand the base fundamentals of democracy and why term limits are important? How are you supposed to have a serious... How is this guy elected? How did he have a debate with somebody?
Just what they can get done in their 2-year, 4-year, 6-year, whatever it is.
Hold on, I need to hop in the void real quick. One moment, gamers. All right, there we go.
So how does Christian nationalism respond to the idea that the Constitution, as wonderful a document as I think it is, was not able to protect itself from what we've seen transpire? And
see, these guys, like, what has the Constitution not been able to... Oh, jeez. Let's just...
Mechanism.
So much.
What sort of mechanism should we have to be able to right the ship when it's gotten this far off course?
I would say it protected itself better than any other system in the history of humanity. Right? A century and a half to 200 years was not insignificant. It was an experiment. That airplane flew. That dog hunted. Okay. Now, we, the great-grandchildren of the founders, great-great-great-grandchildren, have not done as good a job protecting it as we ought to have done. And
that's not... Yeah, you guys haven't. But we've been fighting for a really long time to protect our democracy. But I agree, you guys have not done a very good job at all of protecting our democracy, protecting a government that doesn't base its morality in the Bible, but places its morality among the common consensus of the people. You guys have not done a good job of that. Not at all.
And there are mobs...
George Washington would spit on you, sir. George Washington would spit on you.
The gates, all of that is granted. It's not being protected now. Right?
The airplane flew. Unfortunately, Bill, they're just very dumb. And anything like airplane is a fun word to them. It's like the air in a plane, you know?
I agree with that. But it was protected for a long time. It worked for a long time. And it worked a whole lot better than all the other systems for a long time.
It is still working.
Now, I'm comfortable with constitutional monarchy. You know, I would have been delighted to live under Alfred the Great. Okay.
Oh my God. I'm comfortable with a constitutional monarchy? Get the fuck out of my fucking... Oh my God. This is some of the most un-American bullshit I've ever heard in my life. Oh, I'd be comfortable with a king. Fuck you. I wouldn't be. And there will never be a king on American soil as long as there's people like me willing to fight against losers like you.
Only God-honoring way to govern a people, because our liberties grew out of English liberties, and the heritage.
We would have been loyalists in the American Revolution. Yeah, he would have been. Fuck him, dude. No, fuck this guy. He said some horrible shit.
Of liberty began in England, not here. And with things like the Magna Carta and the development of common law and Alfred the Great, a lot of our rights and privileges as citizens go back to good monarchs. So I'm not.
Oh my God! Look at this fucking imperialist slop licker. What? I don't even know what to call him. He's just not an American. You know those commonly held beliefs they like to talk about so much? Please tell me how this guy fucking displays them. Please enlighten me. Holy fuck.
I'm not casting shade on all monarchies. I'm just saying that you want to have, if we have a monarch, I want a parliament that can say no.
So it's kind of like what the great Thomas Sowell always says is that
oh wow, I want a parliament that can say no. Oh my goodness. Anti-American fuck right here.
You have trade-offs.
That's exactly right.
In this world.
That's exactly
the trade-off I want to go with is the kind of the dispersion of power through a republic rather than.
And I believe the dispersion of power is an essential doctrine in Protestant political theory.
So let me ask you.
No, you don't. No, you don't, because you just said you were comfortable with a king. Stop double speaking. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, that would be. We're gonna have another podcast on that one of these days if you're willing. Okay, so then this begs the question, right? So I think you've kind of established what you see Christian nationalism as being. I have one other question on that, and then I want to get into this next part, and that is, okay, but then how do you get back?
I don't really understand what he wants it to be frank.
You know, what we once had. But before I lead into that, you said something interesting, and that is, you know, when you look at the early state constitutions.
Goes back to being against monarchs abusing power.
The majority.
Yeah, I know, right? Right?
Required some sort of commitment to Christianity, specifically Protestantism. In Christian nationalism, would that be a requirement?
Yeah, the great Thomas Sowell.
Would there be a requirement that in order for you to hold public office, you would have to have some sort of statement of faith or professed religious belief to legally be permitted to hold office?
Right. I can answer that question two ways.
Okay.
Right. One is if you're asking me about my ideal biblical republic utopia.
Yeah.
The 500 years from now.
Yeah.
And in this utopia, would you?
Bro, 500 years from now, Christianity isn't gonna even fucking exist. It's gonna be some weird morph of all three Abrahamic religions that takes over. You know, there's going to be some new prophet that comes along. Oh my gosh, this guy's so smart. He fucking can talk to God, and he's uniting all three Abrahamic religions. Something like that. Dude, Christianity is on its last legs. That's why it's fighting so hard to stay relevant.
Would office holders be obliged to be confessing Christians? I'd say yes. That's what I think the long-term goal should be. Because
okay, so you hate America. Okay, just had to make.
Confessing
glad we
Christians
established
in
that.
Protestant political theory are going to do a far better job of protecting everybody's rights, including the non-Christians' rights, than they are doing protecting ours. Right?
Really, brother, really. God, Krill Kringle needs to fucking. Christianity will just be Mormons. Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
So atheists running the government don't know how to protect the rights of atheists or Muslims or Hindus.
What are you talking about? I would say somebody who has Christian influence is way less well prepared to deal with a culture they have no idea about than a atheist. What are you talking about?
Or Christians. They're the ones who are trampling all over our rights. And this is the thing that you touched on this earlier. And
they're the one that's trampling all over our rights by giving more people rights.
I want to emphasize this. C.S. Lewis again in another place says, confronted with a flood, we break out the fire extinguishers.
Yeah.
So the people who are freaked out about Christian nationalism as budding fascism, all these budding fascists want to come in here and limit the government. They want to. All the fascists
believe in property
are
rights.
cheering on.
That's what they say, but in reality, they actually expand the government. Have there been any atheists in the U.S. government? I think there have been a couple. But, I mean, not like devout atheists, not someone like whoever that fucking fake atheist was who likes Christian values. Richard Dawkins, I think his name is.
are cheering on the Doge cuts.
Yeah, yeah.
No, that's not what fascists.
Yeah.
That's not what fascists do.
Yeah.
And they're going to oppress us and tyrannize us. And I'd say,
No,
look,
that is what fascists do. Fascists tear down institutions that block them from power. What are you talking about?
collectivists, you statists, you socialists, over the course of the last century or so, have killed 100 million people. Okay, 100 million people. And you're trying to scare us.
No,
with
we
images of
haven't. What the fuck are you talking? Who are the 100 million people we killed? Hold on, he just dropped an insane fucking...
and tyrannize us. And I'd say, look, you collectivists, you statists, you socialists, over the course of the last century or so, have killed 100 million people. Okay, 100 million people. And you're trying to scare us.
What we
with
really need is a Satanist. I'm telling you, I'll be the first one in public office. I'm gearing up for a run on city council, guys. I really am. I'm gearing up for it. You guys just wait. That guy doesn't exist isn't going to be just some simple guy working at a gas station. No, no, no. We're going to be a political figure here soon.
images of the Spanish Inquisition.
Yeah.
So if I take the history of Christendom, which has had some bad actors,
Yeah.
there have been people who've done bad things
Oh,
in the name of
yeah,
Jesus.
that's the fucking understatement of the day. Yeah, Christianity had some bad actors. Oh, really?
I fully grant it. And one of the worst, in my book, one of the worst was the Spanish Inquisition, right? And over the course of its history, the Spanish Inquisition killed...
Yeah, they
two-
didn't get... He means every death in China's Great Leap Forward. Oh my goodness. He does, doesn't he? That is what he means, isn't it? Well, by that same metric, would, like, all the people killed in, like, capitalist exploitation, would that technically be a kill for the capitalist? Because if that's the case, then I'd imagine the numbers are pretty equal there.
2,000 people.
Yeah.
That's Stalin on a slow afternoon.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, that's Planned Parenthood
Yeah.
on a slow afternoon. Right. So
Oh my
you
God.
can't, if you want me to feel bad about the bloody record of Christian nationalism, and you're doing it as a commie, you're doing it as a socialist, as a collectivist, come on, give me a break.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is I
You
don't want
give me a break, you anti-American fuck.
to hear from you guys.
Yeah.
You guys are the bloodthirstiest people in the history of humanity, and you're freaking
No,
out. It's just an
you're
exercise.
bloodthirsty. God, they are projecting so
It's a
hard right
projection.
now.
You're thinking that we Christians are going to start acting like you would act if you had that kind of power.
No, we see how you act when you have power, you dumbass.
But what we're after is to limit the size of government, because every Christian, by definition, again, if there is no God above the state is God. If there is no limiting factor in the transcendent,
What if you just don't believe in that hierarchy at all? I think I mentioned this last stream, but what if you just don't believe in the hierarchy that you've set up?
doctrine of God, then you have no limiting factor over the state. And so Orthodox Christians have to advocate for limited government, because the alternative is unlimited.
By the way, guys, if you're enjoying the video, please remember to like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel, gets my voice out there. We'll be having more shorts content coming later tonight and earlier tomorrow, so stay tuned.
government, which is an attribute of deity. And I just refuse to bow down to that idol.
So okay. So you said 500 years in the future. Yes, of course, you'd love to have an environment where that was like a profession of faith was a component of it. But what about right here and now?
Yeah, right here now, what I would do is things like this. We are creating massive problems for ourselves on that front through our immigration policies. Okay, I would turn off the tap. I would stop importing.
No. So I understand that, but I guess I mean from the standpoint of the Christian, and maybe you're answering this, but kind of in a way I didn't expect. You're saying that right now it's not that you would impose a legal restriction of a statement of faith in order to serve in public office
Today, right? I wouldn't do that.
But you would. It sounds like what you do is you would want to mold and create the cultural conditions where it is a logical conclusion that people running for office do have a statement of that faith,
Right.
and that people voting for people running for office take someone's faith into account.
What
when
I
voting.
want today
Yeah.
is
I
for-
don't really care if you're a Christian, if you're any of that. I will vote for you if you advocate for the rights of people, which the Democratic Party does.
Christians like yourselves running for public office to be able to say unabashedly, I'm a Christian everywhere I go.
Yeah.
And if you've put me in the legislature, I'm going to go there as a Christian.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I want today.
Yeah.
Right. Now, well, are you going to ban this Jewish guy, or are you going to ban this Hindu guy? I would say currently, right today, we have far bigger fish to fry. Right. That's not on the agenda even at all. Now, if I get around to writing my
Oh,
utopia of-
that's interesting. If I get around to writing my utopia, then everybody would be Christian. So it kind of seems like you have a problem with them.
Of what it ought to look like 500 years from now. Yeah, I would say that we should have a Christian republic means it's going to be governed by Christians. That's what it means. That's what it means.
Fuck
but
you.
I would want a Christian.
You're not doing this to my fucking democracy, you piece of shit. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be so triggered, but this piece of shit is talking about ruining my fucking great democracy.
Republic governed by Christians, to have space carved out for people who don't believe in Jesus and whose rights would be protected, rights of they'd have the right of habeas corpus, a jury trial, non-Christians,
freedom of speech, freedom of worship.
Right. Now, I don't believe, and there are, Switzerland just recently did this in the last couple of years. This is my ideal utopia. Church bells, yes. Minarets, no. The public space belongs to Jesus.
Yeah, I know. In my utopia, everyone agrees with me. Well, you don't say. Yeah, and by the way, completely anti-American idea.
And so you can't have your call to prayer flooding the town.
Exactly. No taxation without representation. You're damn right, Bill. They would be taxing these people while not representing them. He is wholly anti-American, ladies and gentlemen. Wholly.
Yeah, flooding the town. But can a Muslim businessman pray to Allah? Yeah. Yeah. Is he going to be persecuted for praying to Allah? Are we going to try and bind his conscience or force? No, we're not going to do that.
There's nothing like so when Islam comes in an area.
Yeah, Cabbage, you're on screen today, by the way.
Or there's additional taxes to be paid. There's penalties for failing to convert. You're saying that what your ideal would be is a situation where the public-facing component is, no, we are a Christian nation, and we're going to own it. Right. So public display of the Ten Commandments, public display of the cross, absolutely. And we're not going to give parity in the public space. Now, that doesn't mean you can't privately own your property and set up a mosque. Now, there may be restrictions on what you can do as far as noise ordinances or whatnot, but but there would be. So that's
yeah, we can discriminate against you for noise ordinances. Yeah, we'll do that. But hey, you can have it, buddy.
So
That's correct.
I want to make sure that I'm properly.
Going back to my immigration answer, I want to have immigration regulated in such a way that we're not dealing with this headache of 28 mosques all over the city because we have millions of Muslims here. So if I were, my standard joke is, if I were president, and what a glorious 3 days that would be.
Dude, nobody's voting for that beer belly.
If I were in control of Dearborn, Michigan, we wouldn't have that Muslim population there, which creates this creates and exacerbates this problem of
Of course, dude, what the fuck? So you'd just get rid of all of our Muslim Americans? Nice.
Relations.
I find it fascinating too, because the same people that will listen to this and think, oh, so he's Islamophobic. First of all, I think it's always important to distinguish that phobia means an irrational fear or hatred for something.
Right.
And I always say, like, I don't have an irrational fear of Islam, but I do understand how it operates. And I think the UK right now is finding out how it operates.
No, you don't. No, you don't. How it operates. Let me tell you, okay, you want to complain about how the Muslim people operate? Let me tell you about how fucking Christians operate. All right. So what they're going to do, what Christians do, what a church will do, is they will try their absolute hardest to get into, to elevate somebody into a position of power that has their beliefs. They will lobby, they will threaten, they will tell their congregation to vote in a certain way. And you're telling me that's not something to be concerned about, but we should definitely be concerned when somebody faces their prayer mat towards the Kaaba. Yeah, did we forget the Crusades?
And that is that when you have a certain concentration of a Muslim population in a particular area, they more and more move toward imposing Sharia law or elements of it.
No, they don't. What are you talking about? No, they don't. Where's these studies you're fucking quoting?
Muslim
idiot?
doctrine into the civic space.
Because they're not embarrassed by their faith the way Christians are.
They see this as a...
No, you guys should be embarrassed by it, and I totally disagree. Where is Sharia law being implemented in the United States? Please tell me where that's happening. Because if that's the case, then I will, I'll canvass against that. But I don't see that happening. I see Christians trying their absolute damnedest to impose their beliefs onto me. I don't see that happening in Islam. I don't see that happening in Judaism. It's just for some reason, Christianity, these set of Christians, most Muslim countries don't have Sharia law. That's very true as well.
This is a faithful application and interpretation of their faith. And so I think I pointed that out because, again, before we get into the whole, like, oh, you're picking on this particular, what we're saying is that time and history, history and geography have shown us that when a concentration of a certain number of people reaches a critical mass, they will inevitably impose that religious belief through the civil
No, they won't. What are you talking? Oh
structure.
my
That's right.
god.
That's a reality. If you want to live in a country where that does not happen, importing millions of people to believe it should is probably not a good idea. If you want social cohesion. Now, if you don't care about social cohesion, knock yourself out. But
That's exactly it. And the people who accuse me of being Islamophobic, I'd say, look, do you lock your doors at night? Oh, yeah. I say, are you burglar phobic?
Oh my god. Jesus Christ. So, to him, Islam is just the evil. That's what they think. That's why they talk about the Crusades so
No fear of burglars.
Yeah.
Do you lock your car doors? Are you car thief phobic?
Yeah.
Did you wear a mask?
Well, this is another thing, too, where we get into this. You made a distinction once that I really appreciated.
This guy was definitely wearing a mask. You think this fat tub of lard is fucking surviving COVID? I don't think
When
so.
you made the distinction between race and culture.
Yes.
I'll never forget. I was sitting in a college class. It was an English class of all places. I found out that a lot of the crazy ideas that are not in your economics classes. They're in your English classes.
English department.
Yeah, where people are not prepared to actually debate the issues. But I had a professor.
Oh, this guy acts like he's the ultimate debater. Nick, you are hiding from me, dude. You're hiding. I've reached out. You're a hider. You don't want to debate.
That was talking about black culture, and he kept saying black culture this and black culture this. And I raised my hand. I said, I don't understand what you mean.
Here we just have a bunch of old fucks like Nick and this guy saying, man, it was better before Ali died and we were Sharia. Yeah. Well, ironically, they don't understand that they're advocating for Christianity's version of Sharia law. They don't realize that. They don't realize how absolutely hypocritical they are being. But they are. What they're advocating for would be just as, if not more, oppressive than Sharia law. Well, that's what they're advocating for. But because it doesn't sound, because it's in the American English worldview, it's not nearly as bad, apparently.
He goes, well, what do you not understand? I said, when you keep saying black culture, what do you mean? He goes, what do you think it means? I said, if we use Bell's definition and culture as society's attempt to come up with a coherent set of answers to the existential...
Okay, if we use it, just fucking answer the question and stop deferring to your fucking intellectual superiors, you idiot. Why don't you just answer the fucking question? It's not that hard.
Questions that you face.
But it's a question he made for himself, and he can't answer it.
It's a series of coming up with various answers to address problems in order to achieve social cohesion.
Yeah.
He was like, okay, that's fair. He goes, so what do you not understand? I said, if I go to a black person in Los Angeles, and then I go to another one in Detroit, and then I go to another one in Mobile, and then I go to another one in Paris, and then I go to another one in Lesotho, and then I go to another one in Lebanon, am I going to get the same exact answer based off of the melanin levels in their skin?
Right.
Because that sounds kind of racist to me.
Okay, well, you're a fucking idiot if you don't realize that they're talking about African Americans. You idiot, dude. You idiot. God, he is so dumb. Did RFK fucking slip him a brainworm or something?
You would presume that it's the skin color which determines the answer to these existential questions.
That's not the driver.
It's all of these other factors that are rooted around faith and traditions.
By the way, if you guys are enjoying the video, please remember to like the video and subscribe. It means the world to me, and it really helps the channel. It really boosts it. So please consider liking and subscribing. Anyways, let's get back
and history.
to it.
And it's not to say that a particular group of people who all look the same way might very well have a culture. And culture, like I completely understand how people that were living under slavery in the South would have developed a culture around that shared experience.
Shared music, shared language, shared cuisine.
Shared experience. But to then project that onto everybody of that skin color, I think is inappropriate. And so. It's been
But that's not what they're saying. They're saying, as an African American today, you still face discrimination.
Very, very successful tactic of the left, because of the sin of slavery and other things of that nature, to come in and say, if you make distinctions among culture, then you are automatically engaging in either overt racism or some other form of dogma.
No, but when you guys bring up culture, you obviously have a connotation. It's not just the culture. You're criticizing the inherent values that aren't just related to culture, but you frame it as culture.
My son was at a banquet in New York City one time, and there was publishers and whatnot. And he was
All right,
talking
these
about,
guys are really starting to bore me. Let's just move on to Kalinda's final little stream, or let's break it up with some news real quick. Flight cuts from government shutdowns strain a supply chain that's already stretched thin. This is an article by the AP. We're just going to read a little bit of it. And then we'll read about the shooting that happened in North Carolina. Anyways, this is an article by, is that Mai Anderson? Shout out Mai. New York AP. The Federal Aviation Administration's announcement of a 10% reduction in flight capacity across 40 major U.S. airports could put a strain on the air cargo as the peak holiday season approaches. Did you get a chance to watch the Alita Grijalva interview? Not quite yet, but it's on the list. Is that the one with Brian? Because if that's the one with BTC, then yes, it is on the list. And honestly, we can watch it right now. Here, I'll go get it real quick. Because honestly, I wasn't really feeling the fucking... That was just bullshit. All right, one moment, folks. Let me just get this up. You guys are probably seeing maybe a black screen, but potentially just the article. Where is the... Here. Thought I had it somewhere here, but I guess not. Interesting. If you have the link, I'll watch it real quick, Bill. Because I thought I had the link here, but I can't find it. Crybaby Cam is on Kennedy now. Well, let's go check him out. Oh, it's Bobby? Bobby's on the Crybaby Cam right now? It's Bobby! Let's go. Let's go. I like Kennedy. You know, actually, he's surprisingly, he's one of my favorite Republicans. He's just so funny. All right, let's watch this interview actually with Brian, our Chad in Christ.
I'm joined now by the
Just look at him. God, he is such a Chad.
Representative-elect from Arizona's 7th Congressional District, Alita Grijalva. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thanks for having me.
So we are 44 days since you've been elected and yet haven't been sworn in. Right off the bat, why is it that you haven't yet been sworn in after 44 days?
You know,
this is insane, by the way. After 44 days, she still hasn't been sworn in. Still. Fucking con man Mike out here.
You'd have to ask Speaker Johnson specifically the reason. I mean, I can tell you all the excuses he's given. One, my race wasn't certified. And then it was, you know, we need to wait until the government reopens because now we're in a shutdown. We can't swear someone in during pro forma. But we know that all of those excuses have already been debunked. Yeah. And really at this point, the only thing that distinguishes me from Representative Walkinshaw, who was sworn in on September 10th, is that he was signer 217 and I'll be 218 on the discharge petition for the Epstein files.
Well, has there been any opportunity that you've had to actually confront Mike Johnson in person, or has he ducked you thus far?
He has ducked. So I called twice.
Oh, so embarrassing. Oh my goodness.
Sent a letter, and then our Attorney General sent a letter, a demand letter. By that time, it had already been 4 weeks. And he has not contacted me, has never communicated with me. And I thought it was interesting when you said that, you know, the two Republican now representatives that were sworn in a special on April 2nd, that they scheduled an appointment, because I'm like, well, how did they get you on the phone? Because I would love that option.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is there a part of you that wants to go to DC and try and confront him face to face?
At this point, we've already filed suit, so I don't want to be able to add to any of the misrepresentation or that he's already, you know, sort of thrown out there about me. And I think that everything at this point, from this point on until it's resolved legally, I don't want to have any face-to-face conversations with him.
And so why do you think that it's so important for Mike Johnson? Assuming that that's the reason. I don't want to jump to any conclusions, but I don't know what else it could possibly be that he's okay swearing people in during pro forma sessions if they're Republicans, swearing other people in if they would be the 217th vote for a discharge petition, which doesn't force a vote, but suddenly bristles at the notion of being able to swear in the 218th vote. So why do you think it is that Mike Johnson is so hell-bent on making sure that this doesn't come to the floor?
You know, I think that he's had some pretty clear direction from the White House. So like, we don't want to see this, because if we remember when Trump was running for office, releasing the Epstein files was a really big deal. I mean, that was something he was going to do on day one.
Right.
And here we are. And I think what happened is they got a little gander at what was really in the files and thought, maybe that's not a good idea. And if we notice, you know, Speaker Johnson ended votes a week early, sent everyone home a week early to avoid a vote on the Epstein files. So that seems to be the common denominator. I, like you, I'm like, I didn't want to assume. I really didn't know him. But it has been fairly surprising how easily, with a straight face, he can just lie and manipulate facts. It's been really fascinating to watch.
I think that...
Yeah, it really is crazy how Mike is just covering for Trump. And so is Thune, you know? They're all just such cowards, but they're not even consistent because they don't want to get rid of the filibuster, which Trump really wants.
The most striking part of all.
I don't really know how to even talk about the Republican Party right now, because what do they even, like, what is their core message right now, you know? Like, who even is the Republican Party? I don't know. I really don't.
All of this, and I'd like your thoughts on this, but he presents himself as this pious guy, and yet it would seem that the last thing that somebody who predicates so much of his identity on his adherence to Christianity and his love of religion is to then put himself front and center and make himself the front guy who is running cover for Donald Trump so that he's not exposed in a pedophile ring. Do you not see the innate conflict in those things?
I do. I don't know how he doesn't. I mean, to me, you know, one of the things that he said early on was that the reason why he swore in the two Republicans in a pro forma session, which they never do, and he would never do now, is because they brought their families and scheduled an appointment. I'm like, how do I schedule an appointment? I'm happy to do it.
Yeah, you're like, my family's waiting right here. They'll be happy to come watch me.
I have 3 kids, a husband. We're ready to go. Just let me know when. And at this point, it's every day of this delay that this delay continues. Constituents are not only denied representation in Congress, but they're also denied access to critical services. And so more and more, I keep talking about, this is annoying to me. It's frustrating to me, mostly because I can't serve the constituents that sent me to DC.
And that's what I want to dig into here, because I think from a national perspective, it's easy, and by the way, virtuous, to home in on the fact that Mike Johnson is really making himself a big part of this cover-up for the Epstein files. But the reality is that your constituents, what, 700,000, 800,000 constituents?
See, the only issue, folks, is Brian is saying everything that I would say, so it's kind of hard for me to comment on this, you know? But we'll continue. But I just don't know what else I'm going to have to really say. I mean, it's ridiculous that Mike Johnson continues not to let Representative Grijalva represent her constituents. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And especially because it looks like it's for the Epstein files. Now, it may not be. It may be for something else, but as far as perception-wise, it looks like he's just doing it to hide the Epstein files.
Almost 813,000 people.
813,000 people deprived of any representation in Congress. And of course, that's notwithstanding the fact that Mike Johnson won't let anybody represent their constituents right now because he and Republicans refuse to extend the ACA subsidies that would be required to make sure that they get Democratic votes to open the government back up. But can you just give some indication of your situation in that you have, again, more than 800,000 people who have no representation?
Yeah, she's part of a huge district, by the way. Thank you for pointing that out, Bill. That's a lot of people that don't have representation right now.
Well, it's also coupled by the fact that my dad represented this district for 22 years and was known for amazing constituent services. So they go to his old office that has a sign on the door and actually a black ribbon on it that says, you know, this office is closed. And so that is so upsetting to me that people are going to get help from Grijalva,
Right.
and the Grijalva that can help them is unable to.
Right.
And, you know, I think that when you look at the overall and the people that need help with their VA benefits, with immigration issues, we have the 3 ports of entry with Mexico and Arizona in CD7. We have people that live in poverty, one of the states that utilizes SNAP the most of any. I mean, we need help here in Arizona. And for me not to be able to stand up for them, not be able to sign a lease to open up an office, not be able to get like the phones turned on, that I cannot tell you like how much it hurts me, because I see the people every day that said,
That's heartbreaking. Yeah, I imagine she is struggling with this. I would feel so bad if I wasn't able to represent my constituency. Because they elected me for that, and I would just feel so just disgusting with myself. Not necessarily with myself, but just disgusted at the Republican Party.
Mijita, fui a la oficina de tu papá, pero no estabas. Like, I went to your dad's office and you weren't there. They don't understand that they did their job. They elected me. Now they want me to do mine. And try to explain to someone who needs help what, like, well, I really can't because I don't have a budget.
Right.
They don't care. They just want the help.
Right.
And I want to be able to do my job. And I cannot do it because he's not letting me.
You know, that really is a small part of a larger whole, not just from Mike Johnson, but the broader Republican Party and the Trump administration, where there are all these people who are begging for help. And in fact, Trump and Republicans...
Hey, what's up, Toby? Good to see you. Good to see you. How are you doing today? We're just watching some Chad, some Lib Chad, talk to our Lib Stacy.
gained power by exploiting that weakness. They said that they understood the pain that people were going through. They understood that people needed help affording rent and housing and groceries and eggs. They went so granular that they were talking about the price of eggs, only for them to get power by manipulating people.
Speed this up just a little bit because I don't have much to say, but this was a recommendation, so we will play it.
And with that power, not focus on any of those things, instead engage in a trade war that actually exacerbated high prices, not only not protect healthcare, but strip Medicaid away from 17 million Americans, put 24 million Americans worth of ACA subsidies, double, triple, quadruple the price, not only keep Americans secure in terms of their food assistance, but strip it away to the tune of $350 billion. But then on top of all that, to watch Donald Trump redo the Lincoln bathroom in marble and post 25 pictures online, tear down the East Wing of the White House so he can build himself a $350 million ballroom, buy himself and Kristi Noem $172 million worth of Gulfstream jets, get a Qatari jet that's going to be retrofitted, that's going to cost $1 billion paid for by taxpayers, adorn the Oval Office in gold. And so we have example after example after example, topped off just a few days ago by a Gatsby-themed party at Mar-a-Lago. And so what does it say to you when you see these people in your district who need help and you can't get it, not only because the government is shut down, but because Mike Johnson thinks it's more important to defend Trump from pedophilia accusations and pedophile ring accusations than to actually allow you to become a member of Congress who's fully sworn in, only to, to see them basically just immersed fully in their decadent, ornate life that they built for themselves.
It is definitely like a let them eat cake moment, right?
Yeah.
When people are literally starving. And, I was at a distribution with Community Food Bank here locally.
This is very true. I do think Donald Trump had a let them eat cake moment with that party. They very much did have a let them eat cake moment, and that's going to stay in the Americans' minds far longer than anything Trump says or does. I mean, that image is in my mind. It's burned into my mind. The image of people just enjoying themselves at a Great Gatsby dinner while millions of Americans have to starve. It's ridiculous. I can't have read Javier without thinking of Joel Javier. The E is so unnecessary.
These are people that are gainfully employed, working every day, never thinking that they would need food assistance to make sure that their families can eat. These people have not gone into a grocery store in I don't even know how long. They are so far removed from the average American. And when you look at the state of our economy and the promises that were made by this administration, you would think that, by deporting so many people that our economy would get stronger. Those of us that know better can literally see what's happening. Nobody thinks our economy is stronger. And Trump and his cronies are enriching themselves billions of dollars. I just don't understand why more people are not talking about their crypto money and, literally there's
That's something that surprises me too. Let them drink out of my oversized martini glass. That's something I'm kind of shocked too. Nobody really gives a fuck that Trump just scammed his entire fucking base into giving him a bunch of money. Like, nobody really. I guess it's probably just because we expect shit like this, but you know, I hope this doesn't become common practice for a politician to fucking scam a bunch of people. But I guess we'll see.
At the White House that says justice for sale, se vende. You give me enough money and I'll take you out. I'll take your friend out of prison. I'll get rid of that, pesky little criminal record that
charges you have. Yeah.
Let's just get rid of all of that. And also, let's go after public media. Let's go after the arts. Let's go after public education. Let's go after like anybody that is not agreeing with me and drinking the Kool-Aid and pledging allegiance to Trump. If you don't pledge allegiance to Trump, you're the anti. And when you listen to Speaker Johnson and some of these other Republicans talk about the wins that happened on Tuesday, it's like, well, we knew they're Marxists, they're communists, they're this and that. I'm like, their agenda is all about working people, affordable housing, feeding, early childhood education. Those are enriching programs, but they're not money makers that Trump wants. So he's not going to push that agenda. He'd rather give away $40 billion with dollars to Argentina than give it to the people in this community.
He would. He'd rather just give away $40 billion than he would help some starving children. Self-funded meaning he scams his base so that he doesn't have to use his own money.
But something America first. On that point of
especially if it's made in another country.
Right.
Fine. Go ahead and slap that on there.
On that point of the election just a few days ago, do you buy this talking point that they're trotting out now? And I've seen this from Republican officials, I've seen this on Fox News, this idea that, you know what, it's actually not that surprising because these are just a couple of blue states or blue cities, and so this is really what we expected. We don't have to change course. Everything that we're doing is perfectly fine.
I would love them to do exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
Keep doing it.
Me too. Me too. I'm so glad that that's the messaging that the Republican Party have gone with. No, guys, don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry about it. We're not going to lose. Don't worry. This was just a fluke. I really hope they keep that messaging. By the way, guys, if you're enjoying the stream, please remember to like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel, gets me out there in the people's visions and all that.
To talk to people, and the Democratic Party needs to look at what is resonating. It's a working people agenda. It's talking about what is making it more difficult for the next generation to advance. I mean, every generation, especially in our family, my tata was a bracero, came from Mexico with the promise of a job and opportunity for a better life, and my dad was a member of Congress in one generation. Like that, those stories are not that rare when you look at the advances that people in our community, people that I live with all around us. Look at that. It's an immigrant story because everything in this nation is built on immigrant labor, immigrant input, immigrant smarts. I mean, that's what makes us is supposed to be this melting pot. But for Trump's America, if you look like me, if you speak Spanish, if you're from a different country, if your parents were from a different country, let me try to figure out a way to stop you. Let me try to figure out a way to halt you, because what I want to be able to do, if I'm a Trump and supporters like him, I want to step on my back to be able to get up higher. That's what they've been able to do. They want to roll us back to a time when America was great. It was great for white men. It wasn't great for the rest of us, and it wasn't great for working people. It wasn't great for people living in poverty. And so what we need to do is look at how many people are utilizing these ACA subsidies. How many people, like almost 1 million people, just in my community that need SNAP benefits, that are working people. That's a problem that we need to address as the Democratic Party and get a platform together on how we're going to address the working poor.
Do you think that the way that Donald Trump has sicked his ICE agents on communities of color, do you think that same disrespect that he's showing to those communities lends itself to why he and Mike Johnson and the rest of the Republican conference are so easily preventing you from being able to get your seat?
Oh, completely. Because what I think is happening is that there are a lot of people with buyer's remorse right now. People are very upset. They're like, well, especially people that are now reaching out to me saying, well, I voted for you because I voted for Trump last time, and I don't know what I was thinking. I'm like, I don't either, but thank you for seeing what's happening here. I mean, here in our community, just like you see them masked up and in plain clothes in New York and Chicago, they're targeting immigrant communities so they can make them afraid. I can't tell you how many people reached out to me and said, I have to vote at home. I don't want to go into the polls.
Yeah, by design.
I'm scared, right? I mean, this suppression, you can feel it here in my community, especially in every other immigrant community. And it is for those of us that have the privilege of being able to stand up and with full chest say this is not okay. We have to do it more and more for those people that cannot.
Well, I appreciate your voice, and I know that I speak for countless people out there who do the exact same. Thank you for being so.
I shout out to Representative Grijalva. She is a fucking badass. She really is. And the Republicans fucked up by making her into a superstar. They made her into a superstar. They didn't have to, but because they decided to drag their feet, Mike Johnson, they turned her into a superstar. And I think she's primed for the role, to be quite honest. Anyways, guys, fuck you, Kringle. We are getting towards the tail end of our stream here. About 3 hours is how long I typically go for. So we're getting towards the tail end of our stream, and I think it is time to engage in some Kalinda and Ash debate. So yeah, Trump on Crybaby Cam is even better. Oh shit, he's on the Crybaby. Oh, this is so good. Dude, this is so good. Oh my goodness. I wasn't expecting this, but the Crybaby Void TV has been killing it today. Void TV, whoever is on the on the channel direction there. Good job. Good job, guys. Guys, I actually have a bunch of little gnomes that live inside my computer that get those videos loaded up for you. So shout out to the little gnomes in my computer. They are doing their hardest. They're working their hardest. But anyways, let's go over this. Let me text Kalinda and let her know I'm going over it. If she wants to engage. Oh, caps lock. You gotta love caps lock. No pressure though, and I think she's at the store. Which is my day off. There we go. All right, but I kind of forgot what they were originally talking about, or I know what they were originally talking about, but I kind of forgot where we were left off. So let's take a look where we're at.
Did that derail the conversation?
Yeah,
Back to fighting.
Well, no, I mean, it doesn't. To be honest with you, I almost kind of want to argue about something else because, like, I really need to. Like, I mean, I guess on a philosophical level, I have views about immigration that, like, I think generally overall, it seems that immigration is mostly good for countries, and it's just like, but I don't necessarily have the.
It is completely good for countries. You see the economy just completely stagnate when you try to get rid of immigration.
Answers to certain questions. I think that there's a lot of fear mongering around it, but I feel like that fear mongering probably works better in Europe because there actually were a lot of immigrants that came over, like the Syrian refugee crisis and stuff. And it was easier for them to do that because they were closer. Whereas the United States got to be incredibly choosy about which Syrian refugees or Middle Eastern refugees they got to accept, if they even accepted any. And I don't think they even accepted that many, really.
I mean, we got to pick the worst ones regularly. We got to pick the worst stock of that, to use a corporate term, I guess, the worst stock of the world.
Where is that basing? Where is the policy to pick the worst stock? He's just talking on vibes. This guy loves vibes. He is a big fan. Does Ash really want us to be like Japan, where the economy is in crisis? Well, I think he does. I think he enjoys that way more than he enjoys a society that is functioning and fair. By the way, Department of War put out this. Only 4,000 views. That is meager.
World. It feels icky to say out that.
Yeah,
I like that.
Well, I mean, like,
they're dropping 80,000 Haitians into like a random Midwest town. It's like, whoo, man, that's evil. That's a terrible thing to do with today.
What are you talking about? That's evil? Hold on, let me go back and listen to what this chat just said.
Pick the worst stock of that, to use a corporate term, I guess, the worst stock of the world. It feels icky to say out that.
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah, you should feel icky. You should feel icky referring to people as the worst stock. There's no such thing as the worst stock. Every human has a unbound potential, unlimited potential. And yeah, you should feel like a piece of shit for saying that, Ash.
Well, I mean, like,
they're dropping 80,000 Haitians into like a random Midwest town. It's like, whoo, man, that's evil. That's a terrible thing to do with.
Why? Why is that evil? Why is that bad? He hasn't explained why it's bad or evil. He's just saying black people are here and I don't like it.
Today's job market. It seems like terrorism.
I wholeheartedly.
It seems like terrorism. Oh my God, this guy is lost in the sauce. Can we please come back to the conversation?
I think that it's good for, like, Haiti got into a whole bunch of trouble or whatever, and people there were.
Well, yes, an island of. I won't use that word. I don't know which platforms you're streaming on. It's an island of.
I'm streaming on YouTube, but you were gonna say it was an island of garbage, right? Echoing that one dude's joke.
Exactly. That guy.
I forget that guy's name.
We're talking about Tony Hitchcliffe, I believe, from Kill Tony. One of the most unfunny people I've ever watched in my life. Yeah, just a hack, really.
But, like, no, I mean,
of low IQ cannibals
Haiti...
who share nothing in common. And low IQ racist cannibals.
Low IQ racist cannibals. Oh my God, this guy is just racist. He's just racist. Okay, well, it's good to know that we don't have to have any true, you know, he's not very good faith. By the way, whoever that Chad in Kalinda's chat is they're killing it.
Cannibals, by the way, and we understand that low IQ racist
Okay, stop. A lot of the, like, first of all,
you didn't object until I called them racist.
No, I feel like I wasn't. No, it wasn't about the racist stuff. It was like just about the general overall.
Yeah, the overall characterization of them as evil cannibals looking to eat your brains. Yeah, I think that might be a little racist. I think that might be a little
Characterization
racist,
of,
dude.
like-
No backing and evidence or anything. Again, Ash debates on vibes, and he's very bad at it as well.
Haitians as being low IQ and
Which they are. It's not even a proper state.
you're
It's
you're
racked
not
by
you're not
natural
beating the
disasters that they're not
allegations.
able to-
Yeah, I know it's not a proper state. I know
What is
that they
the
have a
average
ton of
IQ of Haiti? See, what you're doing is
Yes,
you're
the average
telling me
IQ of
you're
Haiti.
something.
The average IQ of Haiti is probably
Wow, he's looking at average IQ. We don't look at average IQ to find intelligence, bubs. We don't. We don't look at average IQ. I don't know any agency that looks at average IQ as a way to tell if they're smart or dumb.
like if it's low, it's probably because they have shitty education because they're like a failed state, like you were just saying.
Yeah, they're also stupid.
Whoa! Okay. Yeah, they're also stupid. Well, one thing which Kalinda just brought up is a very fair point. Well, if their IQ is low, it's probably because of the failed state and how they don't have a very available education. But this motherfucker thinks it's an intrinsic value. He thinks it's just intrinsic to somebody, which is very limbic and very beta, and very small-brained. Very, very small-brained.
That's why they have a failed state.
I think it's more because of the
They killed off
One moment, guys.
intelligent people.
I think it's more because of the natural disasters there.
I think that could be. That could definitely contribute to it.
I think
Well, that could be, or it could be my racist theory.
it's not good for your IQ.
I think they rolled it. I think they got fucked with a bad spawn, and yeah, doesn't really help them.
Exactly, they got a bad spawn, unfortunately. Great way to put it, by the way, Kalinda.
There's like a few countries in Africa that also got fucked with a bad spawn point too, where like they don't have great natural resources and whatnot.
Maybe Ash would be willing to help them respawn.
I don't know what that means. You worry me.
I think Ash does want them to respawn. You know what I mean? I think Ash would love if they all just respawned on an Icelandic nation or something where they're white as silk.
I'm used to being the extremist. If somebody manages to like beat me up, Wick knows this very well. He'll pull it out every once in a while. He's a master. But like if nothing stun lots me better. If somebody pulls something. Oh boy.
Yeah, it's just.
Whatever the causes
They
are, I don't
literally got debt forced upon them when they gained independence. Yeah, France literally forced debt upon Haiti when they became a country. You know, they were unfortunately their country isn't in the best position right now, you know? And I, as a lib Chad, see that and say, you know what? If you need people, if you want to send your people here to get help, I'm fine with that, man. We'll put them in some community that really needs that economic driver, and I think it'll be great. Yeah, IQ does not measure intelligence. You get higher IQ with education. Yeah, exactly, dude. IQ is not a measure of intelligence. Intelligence, in my opinion, and I'm pretty sure a lot of other like I see intelligence on a spectrum. Right? It's not just big number, low number. You could have a certain type of creative intelligence. Your creative intelligence could be higher than your intellectual intelligence, right? There's so many different ways to look at intelligence, and I think intelligence in itself, like this idea of big brain, isn't necessarily how we should be looking at the world. I think everybody has their own certain unique factors that bring different cards to the table. And so I think just looking at this idea of big number go up, or, you know, I think it's not helpful at all.
Let's see why it's beneficial to airdrop 80,000 of them into.
Average IQ is also a bit iffy because the definition of an IQ of 100 is the average of a population.
Wait, random Midwest town. And I think
yeah,
that
I just again I don't think it's good, and I just don't think it really measures much.
Workers can help a local town's economy.
They're not workers.
Yeah, but no, there are people in that
They're
town.
below most of them are below the floor for what the U.S. military even considers trainable.
Whoa, that's not what we're fucking asking though. How many of them are working though? You just made the claim that none of them are working. You need to back that up. You can't just run away from that. You need to back that up. Show me the stats where it says that all these Haiti immigrants just immediately went into the welfare state and haven't been contributing to the economy. You need to show that, or else you're just making a presumption that is racist and stupid. Haiti had 15 times as many workers as the Dominican Republic. French had it as their only colony in the Americas, so they overextended the land. Yeah, he's just parodying the Jordan Peterson BS. Yeah, but specifically talking about Haiti, France fucked them, dude. France fucked Haiti for a very long time. So it's no surprise that they haven't quite come back, you know? There's no surprise there. It would be a miracle if they had recovered and were doing well. You know, we understand that they're probably going to be in a iffy position, so I'm totally okay with taking some of their citizens and having them come to America. I can point to a wealth of benefits. This motherfucker can only point to racist archetypes for why he doesn't want people here. I can point to stats. I can point to how economies were struggling, have been revitalized because of this influx of a new population. We can show all of that, but apparently none of that compares to his racist archetypes.
There were, I recall seeing interviews
And that's,
from,
by the way, pretty low already.
I recall seeing interviews from people in that town who said that they were good workers at like jobs that were low skill jobs. Like I think like, you know, like was it steel mills or like factories or whatever, jobs that, you know,
We don't have factories and steel
privileged
mills. They're not
Americans don't
particularly
want to
low
do.
scale. Are you fucking
Do what do you,
everybody?
Oh, here's this lie. Oh, Americans want to work in factories. Fuck no. I don't want to work in a factory. I'm sorry. I worked fucking in a factory before. That job sucks. But I know it's vital. And if somebody wants to do it, go right ahead, bro. But I am the perfect example of I don't want to work in a factory, dude. I used to work in factories. They suck. They are life draining. They are horrible. You know, I just personally hate fucking factory work. But some people don't. And I, you know, shout out to them. They're what make our economy run. You know what I mean? I hope I don't sound too privileged when I say that, but I hated working in a factory. It really crushed my soul. I think I was in probably the worst point of my life when I worked in a factory.
Everybody, I would fucking love. Hey, listen, I would fucking love to work at a steel mill. I didn't get the chance to.
This guy's a liar. He's a liar. He's lying.
Steel mill then, but like, do you actually?
I can hear the grease come out of his breath. He's lying.
I hope you know. Are you one of those people who thinks that factory work is amazing?
Okay, Kalinda, you don't know my personal history, so I'll give you.
Oh, here we go. Lear, I gotta bust something out real quick. If you guys can you guys give me a minute? I just need to bust something out. One moment. It won't take too long, guys. It won't take too long. Don't you worry one bit. Hold on. All right, here it is. I think, yeah, this one's actually I actually like this color, the coloring on this one a little better. All right, we'll save that real quick. Don't worry, guys. Don't worry. We are almost done, and then I just need some music. All right, guys, this is going to be worth it. I promise. This is going to be worth it. Oh, no! Okay. Here. I got something specifically for him. I went to the internet shop and I got something for him. I think he's really going to appreciate it, actually. All right. Let me just bust this out for the sob story. All right. Hey guys, so this is the world's smallest violin. This is the world's smallest violin right here. And we are about to play the world's saddest song as he describes his past of being homeless.
Wait, he passed. However, maybe we could use this as a teaching example for how you assume things about other people and your relatively consistent history of being wrong nearly every single
You
time.
also assume things
I have
about
been working
people.
since I was 14. And it started with manual labor. I grew up
No, he was 14.
on a horse farm,
Oh.
bringing hay bales around, which were like 50 pounds, since I was 6. And the muscles were nice growing up there, but it was hard. But I did appreciate it because I think there's just certain things to appreciate when you're working with your hands. It can be, the repetition can be handy.
Okay, do you think that the average American
Guys, if you didn't know, that's the world's smallest violin playing the world's saddest fucking song. I don't care about your sob story, bro. I don't. Nobody gives a single fuck about your sob story when you're saying racist shit like this. So cut it with the bullshit and let's actually debate the topics.
like would want to do a job like that though? The average privileged
I
middle
think
class
I would prefer it
American.
to I think a lot of people would prefer it to DoorDash. I think a lot of people would prefer it to.
I don't. And you're just basing that off of vibes. I don't think people would prefer it to DoorDash. Are you fucking joking? Have you seen the American population? We're not the most fit in the world.
I mean, not able to go to college, for instance, or if they're not able to complete college because of something that happened in their life, like mine, because I had to flee my home state.
Hold on. Oh, we're getting back into it. One moment, guys.
Feeling homeless. Had to pull out that card again, but like it seems to do wonders with this crowd. So yeah. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Just don't, no essays, please.
Yeah, while you're typing, wait for me to finish and then just like and then just hit the enter key. But yeah, so a lot of people.
Oh, that's killer, dude. That's killer. I'm gonna get a soundbite like that. And every time somebody tries in a debate to make me feel bad and say, "Oh, I used to be homeless," no, I'm just gonna play that, and we'll just continue there. The violin's just gonna stay, by the way. The violin's gonna stay, because this man, he's really just had the hardest time in life. So we should remind people of that. Again, world's smallest violin playing the world's saddest song right now.
People would prefer that, like if they could make $45 an hour at a steel mill or at a factory or something like that, they would prefer that, 1, to homelessness, 2, to DoorDash, 3, to other gig economy, just put that under gig economy.
Yes, of course they
or
would
to
all.
places that offer no advancement. Like there's a lot of, the job market kind of sucks right now. So something that's consistent, has a decent pay that you might.
Whose fault is that? Whose fault that the job market sucks? It couldn't be fucking DJT. By the way, guys, please remember to like and subscribe. It really helps out the stream, really gets my viewers going, and it really boosts just everything about the channel. So I really appreciate all the support you guys have been giving me. Huge support on the shorts, by the way. Everybody seems to be enjoying those, so I'm glad you guys are liking them. Anyways, let's continue.
Be able to sustain yourself and maybe even a family out of reach of most Americans today. If they want a family, I think that they might appreciate it. Yeah, that's not really. I think you don't understand something about the current American
Now
workers'
I'm a
conditions today.
streamer, the hardest job there is. Well, part-time streamer, part-time employee at a gas station. It sucks. Yesterday, it would have been really nice if I wasn't working because Ice Beans is. If you guys don't know, Ice Beans, she is a content creator that streams on Twitch and YouTube. And I know she was doing a game stream that I thought would have been so fun to join. I was in her chat a little bit, but I thought that would have been so fun to join because, you know, I know you guys enjoy the personality. So, and I would have loved to added some more characters to the TGD EU. So.
Absolutely not. But 2, you just don't understand like people.
Okay, no, listen, I think
you don't understand people coming from the man who thinks every black person is a cannibal waiting to eat people. What are you talking about? You don't understand people, you dumb fuck. Don't insult Kalinda. Kalinda is an amazing Stacy of a lib.
Yes, I agree that a lot of people want consistent work, but I think that the issue that we're having here is your assumption that
See, okay. I felt bad for Kalinda just because he kept insulting her. He kept being like just this giant douchebag. That's why I'm being such a dick to him. He just kept being the worst, most impossibly bad faith person you can imagine. And he kept doing that throughout the entire thing.
Forget about the steel mill thing, okay?
That's why a debate with him isn't going to be just the, you know, a typical debate. I would clown the hardest on this man. And just be a giant dick back to him. If he wanted to be a dick to my homie Kalinda, then he can get the same treatment from me.
I'm talking. I'm
saying down pretty hard on it.
No, it's because I'm not necessarily as familiar with like what steel workers do or whatever. But what I'm saying is that I feel like you're making this assumption that these Haitian workers that were working or any other like types.
And I'm not debating policy. I'm debating if he's racist or not. You know what I mean? We already know he doesn't know shit about policy. Let's debate if he's racist or not. And I'd like to see him defend himself against the accusation.
The work that they were doing, it probably wasn't paying particularly well, but they were still doing it, and they were still hardworking. And even just looking around, I just found that this town, Springfield, Ohio, that these Haitian immigrants were a boon to their economy. That like it was
boon to
good.
their economy mean?
By the way, new baby pick and chat.
Whoa, what does boon to their economy mean? Shut the fuck up, dude. You know exactly what it meant. Stop being a little, oh, what does that mean? You know exactly what the fuck it meant. Stop beating around the bush and actually fucking deal with the evidence you just brought forward. Chances are he's not even going to read the article, though. Chances are.
Yes, I had put it
He
on
is so cute.
What an absolutely adorable face this cat has. Look at this cat, chat. Look at this adorable baby. Oh, this cat is.
Oh, you're sharing it with your chat?
Yes.
Ooh.
Is this cat a brown tabby? Does he have little booties?
Yeah, he's tabby, but he's got little blotches and stuff. Is that his mama?
Yeah, so
I love
cats. Immigration that like just
don't get me wrong.
economic activity that just goes to other people who just got here, especially when the job market kind of sucks and people need jobs, they need works. If people are outsourcing labor either to other countries or they're importing people for the purpose of paying them lower wages, or not even just lower wages, just paying people besides them wages.
I mean, there's
we
a bunch
have
of
a lack of jobs. We already have a lack of housing. That's not good. I'm totally fine saying pause the experiment until those problems are fixed.
I don't know that the lack of jobs thing is necessarily the case. But I would have to look
That's
into
okay
that
because
further.
people are going to vote on it anyway.
Yeah, I know because if people because people vote on
because if you
vibes,
tell them,
yes.
hey, the line go up, bro. The line go up. Everything's fine. You're actually doing great. You're living in an apartment that costs half your yearly income.
Yeah, I don't think voters are this stupid. I know a lot of people do, but I don't think voters are this stupid, to be quite honest. But maybe that's too much hope on my part, but yeah.
Then you have a shit ton of bills on top of that, most of which are mandatory, and you don't get to take vacations, and your groceries are expensive. But wait, no, your
But
groceries
she
are expensive.
can't contend that. She can't say that because she would have to prove a negative. You know? This guy loves bringing negatives for people to disprove. He doesn't actually ever have any real points, I'm coming to find out. He just has contrarian dickhead points.
So I've shown you a different graph that shows you they're not expensive. I'm sorry, it's not. The measures of human progress are not contained on the graph. The graph is a abstraction that we use to track these things. And if you just move the numbers around on the graph,
just
that doesn't
about
make
the
their lives
numbers.
better.
So you don't think empirical data?
That's my argument to you. It's not just about the numbers.
Yes, I understand that
I know
people
my
are
life is
stupid
getting
and they
worse. I
vote
know
on
that people
vibes.
around me
I
are
know.
also
Is that my Discord? Hold on. Just have to make sure. Okay, it wasn't my Discord.
Also have their lives getting worse. Yeah, I think that you criticize. I think it's very funny when Ben Shapiro says facts don't care about your feelings and stuff like that, but actually feelings do matter more than facts because feelings are based on your evolution, your layered knowledge of moral hazards.
Oh my god, he's trying to make an argument for vibes-based arguing. Oh god, no. What's up, Savage? Good to see you, by the way.
Statistics that people will just make up or will manipulate or abstract in an incorrect way just to fuck with you and just to convince you that, listen, who are you going to believe, my graph or your own lying eyes? We're very familiar with the game at this point, and there's not going to be much benefit to it for much longer. So if
he is completely stuck in this vibes-based argument. You know what's fun about it? You can be right and bring a vibes-based argument. You can do both, actually. It's pretty simple, too.
Somebody can come up with an argument to say, hey, we're going to bring in this many immigrants, and this unemployment rate for you people, for the domestic population, that's going to go down by this much. You people, you Springfield natives, you are going to all have jobs as well because we actually needed workers in order to supply XYZ. If you make that argument, then one, go ahead. Two, I get to call you on it if it doesn't go that way. And so because there's no offer that comes with immigration that's specific, measurable, quantifiable.
But you get to call you on it. Where has it not went that way? Where, sir? Where has it not went that way? Duh.
Everything's kind of woo-woo. Every time we come up with a metric for why, or even theorize on a metric
Bro,
for
your entire arguments are woo-woo. Come on.
why it might not be going great, you retreat to a different position and say that you don't know why people are opposed to it.
Bro, what are you talking about? You're literally fighting yourself right now. You're fighting ghosts. You're fighting ghosts. Call the Ghostbusters.
So those are the behaviors. You might not be doing this on purpose. You might not be doing it at all. But those are the behaviors of somebody who is trying to hurt you, trying to hurt me.
Oh my god. Here we go. Accusing Kalinda of hurting people. Stop personalizing it, your politics, dude. It's not her doing this. Stop personalizing it, you dick.
You're trying to hurt people who look like me. And that worries me. It's anti-American.
By the way, I'm sorry, but when you
So, dude, you're anti-American. Get the fuck out of here. You're anti-American, you racist fuck. Here's the debate. Who loves America more and who's more racist? If we can get together and prove who is more racist and who loves America more, I think that'd be a fun debate. I obviously don't want to debate this guy on policy because he sucks at it. But, I mean, I can if he wants to.
You say shit like people who look like me. Like why are you
Yeah,
like
no,
just
it's
are
very-
you trolling when you do that? Are you just trying to trigger me so that I'll like
Hey.
should I just ignore you every time you say something like that? I
Well,
feel like
There's a
Yeah,
lot of
he's
questions,
just
and the
trying to troll. He's not a real person.
answer to that last one is probably yes.
okay.
But if you want to be, I don't know, if you have like any kind of intellectual consistency about this, I don't know why the phrase "people who look like me" worries you, because there are some people who look like me in the country. Some would say too many. There's a lot of the phrase "Irish twins." Didn't come
The
from
reason-
a low fertility rate.
Oh my god.
No, when you say people who look like me, like I'm sorry, but no, I'm not like that granular. I just think white people because you are white. And I'm not saying that as an insult. I am also white, as you know. Like I don't necessarily care.
What
It's
is your
just
ethnicity?
weird. What?
I look at him and I think he can probably hold his liquor.
That's,
I don't even know. I don't know. My ethnicity is like Caucasian, I guess. I have no idea. Like my parents are. My mom's American. My dad's family is from Scotland, but his dad was born in Canada. I don't really know exactly
Really?
like where they
Scotia?
come from.
Nova
No,
Scotia, Canada?
Ontario.
Oh, okay.
I
If Nova
think.
Scotia, Canada, and they lived in Scotland, then it would probably be Scottish.
I mean,
Nova
well,
Scotia is Scotland.
they might have maybe some of them did live in Scotland. Listen, I don't know. I also don't really care that much. I mean, I might look that up or I might like look into that later just out of curiosity. But I don't really have like a lot of like I don't much care about like ethnicity or any of that shit. So
it's fun to bullshit about just history
Well,
and
there's
stuff
some
like that.
really
Like, oh, they came from this
interesting. There's some really interesting history you learn about when you learn about that stuff.
I am
A lot of
interrupting
people-
Oh god. Yeah, it's very interesting. The moderator, by the way, I am a little upset with because they did not moderate very well, in my opinion.
Realize
You deserve it for having a conversation not grounded in reality, and both of you should contest the facts you then engage with material on unless you want to continue to be interrupted. The research into lower IQs in Haiti uses a single sample of 200 people, 2/3 of which are children, highly impoverished, uneducated refugees.
That's
and
what
now
I
we are
said.
forced
Test the rest of
to
them.
an
You can
entire
test the rest of them.
nation
That's fine.
Fact
Yeah, the mod really sucked.
factory work is attractive because tariffs reduce the quantity of other high-paying jobs that are more desirable. Before this, it was coal mines. If there was an increase in jobs and car plants rose, people would work there and so on and so forth. Economic activity does not solely go to other people, because foreign workers are still people engaging in the economy, which means they often engage in banking and create businesses which
Shout out to Ika.
create jobs, or a company's success leads to expansion or maintenance that creates more jobs.
What if those other jobs also go to more people who are imported? Such as if you had a constant flood.
What if the fucking there was a mod? Oh yeah, there was. The feeble man who who couldn't call out Ash on his bullshit and didn't say, "Hey, stop being a dick to Kalinda." That guy's a mod.
Gates are open. Of an additional 1 million per year, you can fill up a lot of new jobs. I don't know how many jobs you think are becoming available every year, but I think that 1 million new people could certainly fill up quite a few of them. That seems reasonable to me. And then we have supplemental work visas on top of that, which exist for the purpose of filling up those jobs as well. And again,
Also,
at any
goes
point,
to more people, which goes to
Well, number one, I would argue that he just talked over her and interrupted with stuff that had nothing to do with what was being said. Yeah, I know. I was very upset with the moderation on that personally.
anyone from the pool. Hash. Not sure.
anyone from the pool. Not necessarily. See, networking is really important when it comes to getting a job. Even if I lay aside the fact that we're importing people often from racist cultures, and I do believe caste systems are racist. I don't support them. They're
Oh God, here we go, the caste system. Let's
completely
go.
anti-American. I don't want to live under a caste system. I don't think that anybody should.
yeah, I
It's
agree, but I
immoral.
don't think we're in any danger of living under a caste system. That's like
I think that the people who come here en masse and live together and who grew up in a caste system and still
Yeah, but like 1 million people in a nation of 350 million people think that. So obviously they're going to just completely affect. And this is just taking what he says as fact. I highly doubt many Indian Americans that come here. I was like, let that guy doesn't exist. And I was at work, unfortunately. I was at work, or I would have joined that. Because that was just absolutely just so rude how he was treating her. And I see that little shit, you know what I mean? And I don't let that stuff pass. Like, you're not going to talk over me. You're not going to just shoehorn your stupid conspiracy theories without any backing of evidence. Fuck no. If you're going to argue with me, you're going to bring something actually concrete, you know? And you're not going to gish gallop. I hate when people gish gallop. You can say your piece relatively quickly. You don't have to go into this diatribe that he goes into every time he opens his oil-encrusted mouth.
still hold those beliefs and
Do you
have
have-
no outside pressure to integrate,
do you have
then
any-
they
do you have
do still effectively live under a caste system.
Do you have any evidence that that's actually happening though? And
Yes, I
by-
do. There's several suburbs within Dallas, several communities that are completely housed.
Yeah, there's a couple people that practice it. Yeah, there's a couple. Not really a large enough majority to make a voting population, but there's a couple. There's a couple.
By people who, well, from India.
No,
let's
I'm
say
talking
here.
about- I'm talking
Frisco,
about-
Texas. The demographics of Frisco, Texas have been completely.
Are they pushing those
How does
caste
it
systems
reverse?
onto anybody else?
Yeah, I'm talking about the caste system shit. I'm not
If-
talking about like demographic changes.
those demographic, hold on, the conversation is the same because the caste system doesn't come over unless you have the people for it.
Yeah, but are they
unless everybody
exercising
in America
it?
said, "Oh man, this is great."
No, but you're assuming that they are
Yes,
exercising
I'm assuming that if you come to the country with a belief and you huddle together with other people who within your own country share these beliefs and you all huddle together and there's no effort to integrate, I assume you would still hold those beliefs.
There's no effort to integrate. See, he's just bullshitting out of his mouth again. The entire American process is involves integration. You know what I mean? This guy.
No, they did hold those beliefs that strongly.
Hold on, I don't have to know. That's not the... Wait, let me just finish this. I don't have to know. I do not have to know. I don't have to provide evidence for it.
You do! You do! You fucking piece of shit. You do have to provide evidence that it's happening. Otherwise, you're just saying, look at this fucking meteor that might hit the Earth. We don't have any evidence that it's coming towards Earth, but it might hit the Earth. Congrats. I think NASA should focus on the meteor that actually is going to hit the Earth rather than the fucking meteor that's 1,000 fucking kilometers off. You know what I mean? Jesus.
It is a risk assessment because if we were not at war with Nazi Germany in 1945...
And apparently these Indian Americans are Nazis now. They've turned into Nazis overnight.
Million people from Nazi Germany came over and they all settled in like Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and they did not intermix with the local, I don't know, Jewish population there or any other population there. I would be well within my rights to assume, especially if they were only providing, jobs to other people from Nazi Germany or whatever have you, but on the face of it, I would be well within my rights to assume that they were still holding those beliefs.
There isn't, because it's only one caste that goes to America, the upper caste. Yeah.
Because they were still forming an enclave on American soil, and American soil is anti-enclave. I'm sorry that I'm more American than you. I don't support racism.
Well, first of all, okay, two things. First of all, the Nazi
Fuck you. You are not more American than Kalinda. Kalinda may be from Canada, but she's got 1,000 times more freedom and democracy in her blood than you'll ever have. Your shit's probably clogged with fucking oil and artisanal diseases.
Work because that
Really?
No, it
doesn't work because Nazi Germany, and you shouldn't use that in
no,
arguments.
yes, that's true, but aside from that, it doesn't work because of the beliefs that the Nazis...
Oh, that's interesting. I know a few half Jewish, half Indian people. That's interesting.
We're not that far off from the beliefs that everybody else had at the time. It's just that they carried them to their logical conclusion.
Care belief. Like what? To the logical conclusion is a massive fucking distinction in belief. Yes.
Yeah, it did, but that's part of what led to
that is a massive distinction in belief.
Discrediting, or that's part of what led to eugenics and all of that shit, for example, starting to become things that
were about whether people believe that they were inferior races or whatever have you.
And the logical conclusion.
Yeah, it's when you say logical conclusion, even that's not.
No, what I'm saying is that
that's wrong.
Dude, why did the mod even interrupt there? They're having a conversation. Like, what did the mod do there?
No, what do you mean? No, the Nazis.
You're 100%. No, the Nazis were definitely wrong. I don't know why
they were. When I said logical conclusion, I mean.
Wow, this guy's brave. He said the Nazis were wrong. Let's give him a medal.
That the Nazis took racism to the next level, to where one would expect it to lead, which is kill all the people they considered inferior.
Yeah, but that's not the next level. That's not the logical conclusion. Because everybody else on the planet also believed, and there are many today who still believe this. They don't exist in, well, sadly, they now do exist in America, but they used to not do, for a brief time. Sorry, so I tracked myself. There were lots of people all over the planet, practically everybody on the planet, who believed that certain peoples were inferior in one way or another.
Yes,
on
I know.
Some metric.
And yes, there are still.
They did not only did they not all engage
I know
in
they
campaigns
didn't.
of extermination, which is a difference in ideology that is.
Okay, buddy, we have. Yeah, can we talk about 2025? Please? He's he's just trying to he's got in the weeds now. He's in the weeds being like, oh, you think Nazis were good? You think Nazis were good? And the only way he ever came to this conclusion was through his bullshit fucking diatribe that I wouldn't even blame if Kalinda kind of tuned out some of it, because I tuned out a lot of it my first listening.
Yeah, I agree. However, the other problem is that you're assuming that every single German...
share the beliefs of Americans at all.
You're assuming that every single German believed in and was totally A-okay with that.
You keep making this
No, yes, you are. Yes, you are. You can say you're not, but when you're doing it, it's kind of hard to deny, buddy.
When you say, well, if you think that there's a general trend here, then you must believe that it applies to every single person here. And I'm informing you that no, I don't. If I look at a scatter plot and there's a trend downwards or a trend upwards on the racism scale.
Okay, great. We don't give a fuck about that, bud. We're not talking about that.
Don't have to believe that every point on that plot is aligned. In fact, I can see that they're not aligned. I'm just looking at the trend. And the trend is what I'm worried about. I'm not worried about interrogating every individual person's beliefs. I think the only kind of person who would make me do
this guy really cares about trends. This guy really gives a fuck about it.
Was trying to get me to accept those racist beliefs.
You already believe in racist stuff. They don't need to get you on board, bud. You're already racist.
Go on, Sonia.
The problem I see, Ash, with your example, like with the enclave thing, is that, for instance, with like Indians who come to America and stay in Indian communities and have kids here and stuff, is that one of the biggest complaints from Indian parents is that their kids get too Americanized, and the kids don't have the respect for the traditions that their parents came from, and they're more interested in, when they grow up, they want to do more American-like things, and they don't want to hold to the old traditions, and they're not interested in holding to the caste system, and it's a big complaint. There's a lot of talk about it. I lived in a
Yeah, I
Indian...
know. Kalinda's very intelligent when it comes to World War II and the Reich and all that. So when he tries to do stuff like this, it's just like, you have no idea what you're talking about, dude. And then the mod here, very interesting play by him.
Indian American community for a long time. That was where I lived in San Jose. Most of my friends in the area were Indian, and their kids were just very Americanized, and it was a big frustration with them. And they would constantly try and reinforce their traditions and everything. And the younger generations would be like, "Oh my God, my parents are so obnoxious about this stuff. I don't know why they keep trying to push
trolling."
it on me."
Yeah, no, and listen, I could make the argument. I think it would be bad faith if I did this. I could make the argument that, like, well, they're up to the Indian parent standards, which are fundamentally alien to America in just every conceivable way. Sure, they
every
see it as
conceivable way, ladies and gentlemen. We've never had an Indian here. It's totally foreign. We don't know how to deal with them. Yeah, immediately we see a Hindu symbol and like, what's that?
Like these as the kids are backsliding. But in point of fact, they're still pretty alien to America. But I can't even make that argument because I've seen it. I don't know. I've seen people try to...
It's kind of a good argument for how strong American culture is. The fact that we rub off on the kids that are raised here, and they end up becoming way more Americanized and look at their parents' culture as being alien and weird. And
America does a really good job of integrating immigrants.
Kalinda made that argument earlier, by the way, which was
but Sonia did it with an example, which I think helps, like an example about like Indian immigrants specifically, and I think that is generally helpful. And I think that that's what matters. Also, by the way, you know what?
I don't understand the sudden hatred of Indian Americans. They're most assimilated people. They can't even say their names. Like Rokana's name is supposed to be... Yeah, I can't say that. Yeah, I don't get the Indian hate either. I really don't. It just kind of popped up out of nowhere. But if you track it, there is a bit of a trend. So what happened was there was the big news story in Fox News and other rightoid medias about this Indian driver who crashed and killed a family, right? And he wasn't able... Some people said he wasn't able to read English. Some people... it turns out he was able to read English, and it was just a stupid move on his part. Now, you can track that moment as the very first in the wave of Indian American hatred. You can track that because after that moment, about 5 months ago now, you see a huge increase in Indian hate. So I think it was that's where it begun. And I don't know, or just because they aren't white, or both is... Yeah, it's both. It's both, unfortunately. The reason they... And this was during the time when we were having these huge debates about immigration. So that's where I track it from, the Indian hate. It's disgusting and completely un-American to do that, though, by the way, in case you were wondering.
You could deal with, I don't like enclaves either, and I think that not having them helps with integration. And you know what? It's possible to not have them to some degree or another, or incentivize them not existing through policy, rather than saying let's not have more immigrants.
I totally agree. We're going to look at these companies that hire in which these ethnic enclaves...
I totally agree, but let me bring up a point. But let me just continue to disagree. You fucking idiot. No, you don't. You're just gish galloping so you can say what you want to say. It's so embarrassing. You're not actually here to have a debate. You're here to just try to hurt Kalinda's feelings, which doesn't work, by the way. Kalinda's a Stacy. She is literally lib-pilled to the max. She is the Neo of our universe. I just saw a fly and I just tried to kill it. I'm sorry.
White people into Indian communities.
We are literally going to send in the National Guard. We are going to your school. We're joining the Diwali festival.
I mean, you don't have to do it like that.
I want just one of those tunics. I don't know. I do have to. I want the fucking tunic.
I still celebrate Diwali, and I've been to many Diwali parties and celebrations.
It's fun. We just need more holidays and parties. Like, there's never a bad time to have more.
Look, he just Mott and Bailey'd. He's like, well, I want to... Hold on. Let's listen to what he just said. Though.
I want just one of those tunics. I don't know. I do have to. I want the fucking tunic.
I still celebrate Diwali, and I've been to many Diwali parties and celebrations.
It's fun. We just need more holidays and parties. Like, there's never a bad time to have more.
You can find different ways to
Look, what a pussy. Oh, sorry. Oops. Oopsie, guys. Whoopsie daisy. I called him the P word. Ah, what a coward. What a coward. What an absolute coward. Realizing how racist the shit he was just about to say. So he goes, oh, I just want more holidays. Ha ha ha, I'm a silly guy. Fuck you.
To deal with like the like you could find different ways to deal with enclaves without like being too forceful from the government, like just with like
Yeah,
incentives and whatnot.
if I was a racist or if I was telling
Dude, you are a racist, but these guys just aren't funny. That's another thing that really goes against them. Especially this guy. He's not funny. If you're funny, you know, you can have moments like that. It's his subtle sarcastic racism badly disguised as a joke. Yeah, exactly. Bots put it perfectly. It's his subtle sarcastic racism badly disguised as a joke. And they don't know how to be sarcastic. It's very interesting. Like, they don't understand comedic timing at all. That's just MAGA in general, though.
for them. Here in America, we send in the National Guard.
Like, I feel like I do satire pretty good. You know what I mean? I feel I do satire pretty well. To where it's like, it's obviously a joke, but believable. Like my Yu-Gi-Oh! Short. You know what I mean? I feel like I do satire fairly well. These guys have no idea how to deploy a tactical meme, and I feel bad for them because their dating life must be horrible. It must not be good. Mine isn't great or anything, but theirs... Oh, thank you, It's Bots. I really appreciate
People are being
that.
racist, even if they're not, even if it's not like explicit or whatever have you. We look at the outcomes, and if the outcomes are different, if we're not seeing enough people in these places, if we're not seeing enough ethnic parity, we send in the fucking National Guard.
Are you talking about Brown v. Board of Education? Because that's the only thing that I can think of when Eisenhower sent in the was it the National Guard to like to make in order to integrate that school?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's you're talking about an institution.
And it was I hope you're not fucking opposing that.
No, I'm not. That was a good idea, but that's a little bit different than like forcing people to like live in certain places.
Racism is
Yes, it's completely different, and you're acting as if these Indians are just always racist, and the large majority of them. You're acting as though there are groups of Indian Americans getting together and picket fencing schools. That's not happening. That's not what's happening. If you're a white kid, you can walk into a Indian majority predominant school and be totally fine. They are not going to shoot you. They're not going to try to lynch you. That's what was happening during Brown v. Board of Education. So let's just be clear about the circumstances we find ourselves in.
What the context is at the time.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case,
I'm a little sick of how much cover you run for these people.
Oh, okay. All right, then. You know what? In that case,
I'm a little sick of how much racism you spew out, but you don't hear me. Well, you do hear me complaining about it, so.
Hello?
Oh, one moment, folks. Oh, hold on. I am on the audio box. There we go. Or no, not audio box. Headphones. All right.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Everybody say hi to Kalinda. Very valued member.
Before we go into this, I'm not gonna like listen to the debate on your stream and hear myself twice. So I know. Can you share your screen? If not, we're gonna have to use like watch together or something.
No, yeah, I got you.
Okay.
There we go. It should be sharing all up for you right there.
Okay, hold on. Can you press play on it?
Yeah.
No, I'm not. In that case, I hope that you're okay with me outlawing all white clubs and mandating that every company has.
There we go. Hell yeah. But chat, say hi to Kalinda, amazing streamer. Just absolutely kills it. Absolutely kills it every time she goes live. Give her a sub and a like. That's very important.
Thanks, guys. Listen, to be honest with you, I don't think this debate went particularly well.
I know you don't. I don't think.
At least not at the start, because like he really like. Honestly, I think looking back on it, a lot of his arguments were like completely feels based. He had and he even admitted that at some point. Like I don't think he has any data that backs up the notion that, for example, Omar Fatah lost because that other like Somali people voted against him. Somali people are like I think like 6% of the population in Minneapolis. It's very unlikely that they swung the election against him. A white guy won, who was previously mayor. He doesn't have any evidence that like Indian people come into the United States and then like gather up in communities and enforce their caste system. He just thinks that they believe that because
Yeah,
he just
his
thinks
idea.
that.
His idea that if some people come from a culture, they're always going to import everything from that culture is just insane, in my opinion.
And there's not any evidence for it. And also, as Zonia explained, like most Indian, like second, third generation, like the children of Indian immigrants, they don't believe in any of that shit anymore anyway, because that they have left the
Yeah.
they've yeah, like because they
The cultural influences of the parents.
yeah,
and stuff.
because the melting pot is awesome, and America does a really good job of integrating people.
Yeah, that's why I'm such a big America fan. I totally agree. And I think what a lot of the stuff he says really is just anti-American and totally against what we believe here. But I'll continue the video. Thank you for stopping by the way. I am going to end stream here in about 20 minutes. Is that okay?
Are you asking me? Yeah, that's fine. I
Okay,
might go live after you, but I have no idea yet because I
Oh,
still really
bet.
should be doing studying. But
Hey,
yeah.
content is content. I feel you. I've been putting out some shorts recently, so those are doing well.
By the way,
But-
I think those have been good because they you've been showing your face, and I don't know how much that matters, but you know, I think that's probably at least somewhat helpful, maybe.
Oh
but I have
yeah,
no idea.
at some point I bought a webcam with my first paycheck, so it should be here, and I'll have a little webcam set up here. So
What kind of which one did you get?
I was just a cheap one off Amazon, so probably not very
Oh, all
good.
right. That's fair. Whatever, that's fine. Anyway, go ahead.
If you have recommendations, we can go over them after stream. That sounds cool. Anyways,
Okay. Full on, like it sounds like you're arguing for DEI now.
How will I know that it's over? We already had that. Oh, not the all white club. Apparently, we have
I mean,
an all white club.
I think
What's
those-
explain to me what the purpose of that is?
I think don't those still exist? I don't think that they're illegal.
Okay. I'm
Micah,
not
I'm noticing
going
a
there.
pattern. I'm noticing a pattern with things you've been posting, Micah. Before you post anything that goes TTS, Kalinda, do you allow people to say the R word on your stream?
I don't care. Oh, you mean retard?
Okay.
Yes, it's fine.
Yeah.
Just
whoa. No, I'm
Okay,
kidding.
don't say Haitians earlier.
don't say any slurs though. Like
Don't
you
make
know.
slurs. They're gross.
Just wanted to, because I know you're a little more left wing than
Yeah.
a lot of people.
No,
that
I'm
on stream, so
listen.
just-
I'm a Loner Box mod and a Loner Box viewer, and he says that. And also I'm a
And he
liberal.
says he gets that hard R all the time.
Well, he says that was a good Linus Tech Tips reference there. Unless some other people have used the hard R in that way, but I feel like he's the only one.
I remember that. That was really funny. The
But-
Linus
yeah.
Tech Tip was.
Yes, I'm a liberal. I'm not a leftist.
Yeah.
I'm not a socialist or a communist. I hate those people. Yes.
Not enough.
Okay.
No,
okay.
no, I hate them
You
pretty
might
hard.
vote for him when they're being racist.
Good to know. I wasn't sure. I thought you were.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, Kalinda, why aren't you going after the lefties who are being like kind of racist? Why are you going after him? You know, why are you going after poor racist man here?
Oh yeah,
Poor guy.
I totally don't go after the leftists when they express bigotry.
Yeah,
as
I
our
know.
as our angry screaming match over Hassan previously attested to.
Yeah,
Actually wasn't really a
exactly.
screaming match, but you know.
No, yeah, that's so funny that he obviously just doesn't know much about you to say
Well,
stuff. like
no,
that.
I mean he
left-wing than what we-
doesn't. But yeah, I mean he's just saying he likes to assume stuff about people's points of view because that in order to rage bait.
Oh,
a lot
yeah.
of what he engages in a lot of rage baiting.
And this is what I was talking about earlier. They don't get satire. I just don't think they have a funny bone in their body, unfortunately. Somebody took their humorous out because he's blurring the lines between satire and reality too much. You know what I
I
mean?
mean, it's hard to know. Like, I think he just wants people to call him racist so that he can get really mad about it. I don't know. I kind of get that impression.
Oh, he's one of those people.
I mean, yeah, maybe like he just says the craziest shit, so people will call him racist, and then like he can get angry with them for assuming things about him. That's all I can think of.
Oh,
because he
trust me.
does, as you recall, he gets super mad.
Oh yeah, that conspiracy theorist moment. That
No, not
had
just
to-
that. Yeah, or when I jokingly said that Dispel, or that like, see, this is why people call you a Nazi after Dispel like left the conversation, but
Yeah.
I don't think we're there yet.
No, not quite yet. We are about
We
an
normally
hour
encounter,
and
so I
9
just want to make sure
minutes.
since
No,
she had posted the R word many times, and I was like, okay, before we continue, can we
That's
just
fine.
check here?
No, I'm pretty solidly liberal, I would say. I mean,
Alright.
although
I think you're progressive from most of my interactions with you, but that could be my.
I think that's probably because that you are a right winger and you guys have a tendency to conflate like people on the left with our most extreme factions. Although, in fairness,
Yeah, see, he just did it there. He'd say, "Oh, well, I think you're a progressive." Even though you
Yeah.
just stated that you're a liberal and that you believe
I mean,
in the
in
liberal
some ways, I
ideology.
probably am progressive, like on social issues, or he probably would think that I am, depending upon how much he cares. Like he said, he's a game designer, which means that it would not surprise me if he was one of those people who gets super mad about too many women's and black people
Oh,
in
yeah.
video games. And upon like the issue of having greater levels of representation in media, I am like pretty in favor of that.
Yeah, same
If
here.
writers want to do it, and if they do it well and the story is good, I like that kind of shit. And I will argue against people who bitch and whine and complain about it.
I like
So,
having a
yeah.
diverse cast because it brings a whole bunch of like unique viewpoints that you typically wouldn't get. And I wouldn't want my media to just be something so bland,
Yeah,
like
and
copy and
some of the
paste.
best shows, I don't see it as much in movies. Some of the best shows are shows that have all that or that speak to
Yeah.
that in some way and do so in like either a subtle or, as long as you're not in your face about it, which I mean, if it's of good quality, then it usually isn't. So
Yeah,
yeah, I like that
exactly.
kind of shit.
But this guy, he would prefer they all just be whiteys on there and they all just
I
have a
mean,
shared
I don't know if
cultural identity.
I shouldn't assume that about him, but it would not surprise me if he thinks that based on other things that he says.
See, I typically wouldn't want to assume stuff like that, but this guy was a complete dick to you, so I'm cool with being a dick back, personally. Now, I know that's probably not your position, but he was a giant jerk, so.
Well, yeah, I know. I mean, I feel like if you talk to him, it would probably just be a screaming match where he repeatedly accuses you of assuming his position.
Yeah, probably. But hey,
And I mean, in some
he
ways,
shouldn't have been in
are-
that position to let me assume like, I've never been called racist, okay?
yeah,
I've
but,
never
oh
been
no,
called
he'd
racist.
he'd probably call you racist in like the way that he thinks that the left is racist. But
Very
anyway,
true,
I don't want to
very true.
derail. If you want to
Oh,
keep
no,
going,
no,
people on the
my
left do the same
bad.
thing with people on the right. So.
I mean, you guys do that you do the opposite with your own people to sneak them through. But remember, McCarthy was correct. There were communists all over the State Department, had infiltrated it. FDR was a socialist at the very least, not quite a communist. But
This is a crazy point. I'm sorry. I just have to. There were communists all over the State Department? What?
Yeah, that's I don't know.
I don't know where he's getting that from personally.
I mean, yeah, like maybe there were, but no, I don't think so. That seems incredibly unlikely given the overall American position towards communism. There were communists in like lots of schools and stuff, unless he can provide evidence that, but that's not, I don't think I've ever heard that.
Yeah,
I
I've
don't
never
think they were all over the State Department. Were there some of them in Hollywood? I mean, yeah, sure. Or some people who like were further left. Yeah, I guess.
Well, apparently these guys think or I shouldn't say these guys, but I'm assuming that they think Hollywood is like an apparatus of the government in some way. So
I mean, maybe some people, I don't know. Sorry, go
I
on.
the history of these things.
No, I don't think FDR was a socialist, unless you think socialism is when the government does stuff.
When the government does stuff, yeah, it's very cute.
No, but that's not what socialism means. Like, actually, that's not what it is.
I know it's not what socialism means, and you know it's not what. The important thing is that you know that I know it's not what socialism means.
Oh, look at that! You know that I know. You know.
Social programs, and then there is socialism. Socialism is a whole system.
Massive redistribution, the creation of massive.
I would say that FDR was a liberal, and that the New Deal was
not a liberal.
Okay, yeah, I know.
Absolutely,
I feel like
the market. Hold on, FDR was anti-market with every single policy he had. He further contributed to the destruction.
Every single policy that FDR had was anti-market, apparently.
I think the problem with this guy is that he doesn't like his definition of liberalism is not the modern definition of liberalism. His definition of liberalism is classical liberalism, like old school like libertarian shit, and he just keeps thinking that that's what I mean when I say liberal, but it's not. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the modern conception of the term liberal, of which that I would say that yeah, FDR probably fell into that, because it has been argued, at least by some people, especially actually by a lot of leftists, that his policies saved capitalism, and that if not for his policies, then the United States probably would have fallen to some sort of socialist revolution of angry ass workers. I don't know if like that's true, but I have definitely heard leftists say that kind of shit. And they will also frequently point out the fact that FDR was not particularly nice to black people, because that was before the Democratic Party. Yeah, you know, like his policies were still exclusionary.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, this guy's deluded. Sorry, I kind of.
FDR was like a Keynesian liberal, you know, like I don't know if the kind of person who thinks that capitalism is fine, but it needs to be regulated, which I think is something the Great Depression taught us.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Obviously, if you argue with some people, they won't say that. And also economics, yeah, whatever. But
economics do get difficult. I tried to look into some economical stuff recently, and it's It's all Greek to me.
Construction of healthcare lodges. He ruled Wicker v. Filburn, allowing Congress to regulate all commerce within states by saying that it would affect interstate
He was
commerce.
seen as like the regulation king at the time.
I feel like you and I have
in his day, he was 100% a socialist.
I feel like
we don't consider him that today.
I feel like you and I have a very different definition of the term liberal, as came up in the last time that I was on the panel with you, and you described yourself as a liberal when you strike me very much as a conservative, at least based on things that you've said so far. But yeah.
Yeah, well, liberals used to be.
Yeah, I love these fake liberals. I've noticed this more recently, this trend of conservatives calling themselves liberals. I don't know what that is, but I've noticed
It's
it.
because they're trying to use an old definition and then
got
get
you.
mad. It's because they're talking about classical liberalism, talking about old style liberalism. Ah!
Oh, are you
Sorry,
okay?
The cat. Yeah, I'm fine. The cat's just being a shit. He's just like running around and trying to get at things, and I see you use the litter box. I can smell it.
Well, hey, I'm proud that they used the potty correctly.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, no,
Be
of course he did.
Well,
Sorry. Go on.
oh yeah, sorry.
Push
Because it was used for the abuse of their workers. Sorry,
The
go ahead,
1970s push for deregulation, what they called it at the time is that they were trying to roll back all the FDR era regulation because he was considered to be like the regulation king, and that all the regulation that they had been dealing with at the time that the claim was had tied the hands of corporate America was his doing, or under his administration or under his vision. So he was a very heavy regulation, right? So typically, when you're talking about liberals, typically when you're talking about liberals, you're talking about the keyword there being liberty and allowing for freedom of action and freedom of choice, of being able to self-actualize and such. So he was kind of, at the time, seen as sort of like an enemy of liberty in terms of like
Yes,
being
I
a
know.
capitalist, being able to do what you want to do, being able to make your own money.
Republicans called him
however you want.
socialist. Yes, I remember that. Yes.
So
Lots of other people did too, and they suffered for it because their businesses were regulated or their private practices were regulated out of.
What is this? Anybody that criticized FDR got persecuted by the state? Is that true?
I kind of doubt it, but I mean,
Yeah,
of course, he would say something like that. I mean, I don't. That feels rather silly to me. I know that like
Yeah.
FDR was a bit heavy-handed in some of the things that he did, but I mean, yeah, I don't know. This guy seems to think that regulated capitalism is the same thing as socialism, or that if you want to regulate capitalism, it means that you must hate it, which is very, very silly to me.
Yeah,
'Cause that's
it's-
not like, again, that's literally he's doing it. He's doing the socialism is when government does stuff shit.
I know he is. That's the favorite conservative talking point, is that if the government does anything, they are just some socialists, and that you guys shouldn't want the government to do anything. You know, it's this ridiculous stuff. And
Wait, hold on. Sorry, just a sec. That mod was a net harm to the debate. No offense. Sorry, what are you talking about? It spots all the way down. What mod?
I personally did not enjoy the moderation of this. I felt like they were a little too kind to Ash, personally.
Wait, I'm sorry. I'm confused. There was a moderator in this debate?
Oh, I thought the mod was the guy who occasionally talks. I thought he was a moderator.
No, there's
Oh.
no moderator in here. It's just a bunch of people shooting the shit. Like
Oh, okay.
I don't know how new you are to this community, but the person who had just finished talking or whatever, the person whose cat this is on the screen is you haven't, I guess, yeah, the person whose cat this is, that's Zonia. She is she's like a very old community member who disappeared for a long time, and people who I guess like weren't around a couple of years ago probably don't know her. And she has adorable cats and stuff, and she's like a, I guess I'll say like center left-ish trans person.
Got you.
And then the other one is
I was not aware. I think I may have accidentally misidentified them. So if I did, I apologize to Zonia. You don't deserve that.
no, that's fair. I mean, it might have not been her that you were talking about. I don't know like who else is in here. In the future, like SDA comes in towards the end.
Oh yeah,
at
I
least
saw
towards the end
that.
of the stream, but that's not until a little bit later. And then and Dispel also shows up to derail and ruin the conversation. And never did I wish more that we were in a different Discord channel so that I could have just kicked him out, or him just not come in at all, because he contributed absolutely nothing, and he just wanted to be a dick or just be
Yeah.
stupid.
I heard a
but-
little bit of that when I was at work and listening to the stream. I heard that and I was like, oh, this guy is just trying to
Yeah.
derail.
Yeah, and then like there were other people in there who occasionally spoke up, but not really. It was mostly just me, Zonia, and then later SDA, and then like Dispel for a bit, and then like Ash. But it was mostly me and Ash. Initially at the start, it was just me and Ash. And then someone else came in and didn't say very much. But yeah, no, there's no moderators in here.
Oh yeah, I was
Anyway.
talking about Zonia. I thought Zonia was the mod. My
No,
apologies.
she's not. There's no mod. Anyway, keep
My
going.
apologies to her for
Yeah.
misidentifying.
Also, by the way, Zonia absolutely agrees with me more probably than she does with Ash. I feel like most of the substantive points that she made in this discussion, except for maybe a little later on, when I said that people who compare Nazi Germany to Israel are being anti-Semitic, which I mean, like, I still think that they are, because it feels like they're only doing it to like attack, to like make Jews uncomfortable. But aside from that, yeah. Don't forget Ica, that's Ica, not Ico, Bill. Ico is like an actual content creator. I don't know. Ica just didn't want to talk on mic, I guess. And yeah, she used text to speech sometimes, but for the most part, that was, yeah.
I thought it was a good little meme on when she would interrupt, and I thought it was funny.
And obviously, and by the way, I know that you did mention caring about the Constitution earlier. How do you feel about the declaration that Congress should only be interfering with interstate commerce, and that the within the state, Congress shouldn't have any authority, shouldn't be exercising its authority?
So I need to know, did he vote for Trump?
No, he didn't. I don't think. I think he later on says that he wrote in Ron Paul or something. Yeah, he basically didn't vote for anybody.
Okay, so
he doesn't defend Trump, but he's very clearly incredibly anti-immigration.
Yeah, which is a huge Trump part.
Okay, I mean, this is going to get interesting because that and I feel like this is going to probably be my most controversial take, at least to you, and you're going to get super mad when I say this, but like it actually triggers the fuck out of me that the United States.
You want me to gin up my anger first?
If you want to, it triggers the fuck.
Interrupt you again. Sorry, I just hate how he interrupts you. That really.
I mean, that the United States doesn't have anything in the Constitution. We actually got derailed, or I got derailed because the conversation went to different places. So I didn't actually get to finish my point here about like how I do think the U.S. should have an equal rights amendment, and it bothers me that the United States does not have that. And so instead of having that, they have to use the fucking interstate commerce clause in order to like enforce the civil rights or the Civil Rights Act in order to enforce the whole protected classes thing. And that's like their basis for doing it, which I think is very silly. And like there should just be something in the Constitution that just says that you're not allowed to discriminate against people based on their race or whatever.
I agree.
But there's not. The other thing. But like where I was actually going with that is that not only that, but that would then lead me into the fact that like, I guess I am tentatively on this position in part maybe because that I have like some reservations about this, but I am tentatively on it. At the moment, I think that if you send your kids to a public school, then those children should be taught that being trans is normal and it's okay, and being gay is normal and it's okay, and that there's nothing wrong with any of this shit. Like they should be taught about it in it's morally neutral way, not like any of the it's superior or whatever, and like sex, like all of that stuff, and like like they should be taught that, and they should also be taught why racism and bigotry and stuff is wrong. They should be taught like, okay, this is what these people believe, and then this is why these views are incorrect. Not just racism is bad because it's bad, because if that's all you say and you don't give them any of the tools to like think critically about why something might be bad, then they are going to be more vulnerable to it later, which is another big problem that I have. Because when I went to school, we were never taught about why any of these things were bad. We were just told these things are bad, and that was it. And yeah, like there was no philosophical like examination, there was no critical thinking, none of it. But yeah, like I and unfortunately, if I say that, then there are people who are going to be like, well, you want to force your liberal views on my children. And like, yeah, I do. Fuck you. I do want that, because I would rather have a society that is full of that. Yeah, that is what
I think it's more just how to like how to make sure society doesn't like. You bring up a good point about the racism, right? Because these kids are taught racism is bad, but they don't see the effects of racism. And so they grow up and then they get into like a counterculture mindset. And now racism,
or they end up on 4chan or they see a Nick Fuentes video and they have no means of fighting back against that, and they have other problems in their lives, and all of a sudden it's like, oh well, hey, you know what? Maybe he's got a point, and because
I can just blame I can blame the Jews on everything. So I know that's a little different, but
no, it's the same. It sort of falls into the same shit. Oh, hey, Toby. Yes, I am indeed here. I also don't like the Yeah, or like black people too, obviously. Like I
Yeah.
want I want public schools to teach, that that like racism is wrong and that like black people are fine and yeah, like it just
Well, it needs
basically
to be
yeah.
better than when I remember when I was in high school, I had to write like a little essay about like from the perspective of a African American slave. I think it needs to be better than that, you know?
Oh my god.
I think it needs to be a little bit better than that. So, I do have to head out though, unfortunately. It is time for me to leave. I have to get
Oh,
ready
you have
for
to go to
work.
work? Oh yeah.
I'm so sorry. I wanted to talk longer, but
No, it's
work
fine. I was late.
calls. No, you're totally fine. We could stream tomorrow if you want, co-stream and go over the little bit of this. But I'll talk to you after stream about that.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't
Bet,
know.
bet.
Well, actually, it probably won't be tomorrow because tomorrow's Monday, and yeah, but I don't know what I'm doing. Loner has
Oh,
been
you're
ending his
totally
streams a
all
lot earlier lately, so I might start going live after he's done.
Hey,
Yeah,
there we go.
you should start up a stream. I need background noise. Oh, well, thank you, Toby. You're right. Maybe I should, but I should also be studying anyway.
You can study while you stream. Maybe we can all learn together.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that. I don't know.
Well, all right.
Anyway,
this was Kalinda. She has a YouTube channel on YouTube. Go like, subscribe every one of her videos like I have done previously, and be a fervent supporter of her because she's an amazing community member. She does great work. She's working on some stuff right now. Do you have anything on the pipeline, Kalinda?
I have like a billion things that I am right now. I might, if I stream today, I'm probably going to do a research thingy. I want to, there's some stuff I'm looking into, but yes, at some point I want to do some history streams where I talk about lesser known aspects of the Holocaust. I would like to do something about how the oppressor versus oppressed worldview is incredibly stupid and illustrate why. And I would also, and the other thing that I think what I might spend some time looking into today is it's an incredibly grim topic, but I wanted to look at instances of rape in wartime and take 3 different examples of it and go over the various UN reports and see what they considered to be enough evidence to determine that this was a thing that happened. Because that it seems like all of the people who say that no rapes happened on October 7th don't seem to understand that, at least according to what I've heard, everybody like that is eyewitness accounts, generally speaking, and like finding the aftermaths of the scenes are good enough evidence for people to conclude that yes, this was a thing that happened, and that there was no forensic evidence or any of that other weird shit that everybody wants from October 7th that were required. So yeah, I was gonna go and check that and look up some UN stuff.
I'll be
It is an
tuning into those
incredibly
streams.
depressing topic, but yeah, I might do that later today.
Well, I'll be tuning in if you do, and hopefully all my viewers will as well. You better go like and subscribe to her. But I'm gonna end stream now. So, what's up?
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say I think most of the people in here are probably already subbed to me, but anyway, yeah. Have a good one, guys.
Later. Bye. All right.
Bye.
Get out of VC there. Well, that was Kalinda, ladies and gentlemen. She is an amazing content creator. Go give her all the love, all the support that she deserves, and she just deserves it. She just deserves it. She is a amazing streamer. So, thank you. Thank you, Toby. I appreciate it. Let me get the Front Mission 4 music going, and I will head out of here. Actually, let's play the world's saddest song, played on the world's smallest violin for Ash's story. Later, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I have shorts coming out. Don't forget about them.